That The Fly was a masterpiece. The Fly was. It happened one night compared to Shape of Water.
It was a great horror film, and I do not like horror films.
The Fly.
The Fly, yeah. It turned out to be quite a horror film, but well acted. This was The Fly. To me, this was The Fly. What's the
Insult
difference?
to The Fly.
Maybe
The
from
Fly
the
doesn't live in
director's
your
perspective
bathtub.
and the actor's perspective, sure.
I'm a fish person. I don't know. I've got a
I'm a fish
goldfish.
person.
I'm a fish person. I have tropical fish, saltwater fish, and I'd love to have a creature in my bathtub.
French fry shrimp.
I got bubble shrimp.
Okay.
I barbecue shrimp.
Yeah, okay, Bubba Gump.
I didn't
doesn't want a fish
get the
man?
film. I didn't get the film. The guy who played the person inside the
Yeah,
suit,
who was the fish man?
Doug Jones,
Yeah.
tremendous actor. You saw him first, by the way.
And what?
He was that guy at the piano with the quarter-shaped moon head in the old McDonald's Mac at Night commercials.
Oh, that's him?
That was his first
That's
big
Fishman?
big break.
I expected Fishman to come out and go,
He's been doing faces and things like that for 30 years. Tremendous way to make a living. He's done a great job with all the things that he's done. He's Silver Surfer, for instance. So he's got comic book cred, things like that. But still,
So this is Guillermo.
bad.
This is Guillermo del Toro, who's like a fan favorite of the Hollywood jet set. He's like the Pan's Labyrinth, and
he won Best Director, too, didn't he?
of course he did.
Yep.
Right. I mean, just awful. The only highlight. There's two highlights yesterday that I know of. I didn't really watch it, but I saw.
Oh,
what
come
happened.
on, you watch it. You had to for your job.
No, I don't. No, I don't. The two highlights. One, which is an obvious one, which is Gary Oldman winning Best Actor.
Darkest Hour. I wish I would have watched Darkest Hour, then Dunkirk. Instead, I watched Dunkirk, then Darkest Hour, and I did not appreciate Dunkirk as much as I should have.
Yeah.
Dunkirk was okay.
I didn't like Dunkirk, but now I would have appreciated more had I watched it.
Why?
Because you hear about Dunkirk, and then you can actually see Dunkirk.
Okay. The other.
This is going well.
The other good moment. Well,
Don't make me bring in Fishman.
Well,
He's outside.
Fishman could have enhanced Dunkirk. He could have swam.
He could have driven a
some
civilian boat.
Some
right?
of those British soldiers. No,
right.
boat. He's amphibious. The British soldiers could have hopped on his back, and he could have swam the English Channel.
Any female military he could have made out with. Fishman.
The other highlight for me was Sam Rockwell winning Best Supporting Actor because he is a great actor and vastly underrated, and so that was nice. And 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri was actually a pretty good movie.
I know, and I want to play Frances
McDormand
when she won the Oscar because she made all. Do you have access to audio on your screen there?
No, we don't do audio on this show.
Well, she when she delivered her speech, she made all the female nominees, not only in her category but in every category, stand up. And
lame.
just be it wasn't that lame. It was their I got you moment. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is it. Ready?
It's so nice
Got a
seeing
deep
you
voice.
again.
Francis. She's got a deep voice.
The changes we are witnessing are being driven by the powerful sound of new voices, of different voices, of our voices, joining together in a mighty chorus that is finally saying, "Time's up."
Yeah, then she encouraged people with money, executive producers, to meet with females who have ideas on projects.
Yeah, that's a good example of why I don't watch the Oscars, and it's also a good example of my general indictment of Hollywood and so many elites like Frances McDormand, even though she's a great actress, is that, to borrow a line from the great Ehrlich Bachman in Silicon Valley, they have their heads so far up their own behinds that they can see the future.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Weather is going to be changing around here. It's 37 degrees right now, going up to a high today of 41. But by this afternoon, we're going to have windy, high winds and rain. And overnight, that rain's going to turn into snow. anywhere from a dusting to an inch. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a couple of rain or snow showers in the afternoon, a high of 41. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Did you watch the Oscars last night? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. No, didn't do it. A lot of youth hockey over the weekend, which I suspect was better entertainment anyway. The Ryan Expressway got a little bit of a delay on the inbound side, 47th to 43rd. Everything's moved to the right shoulder, and the on-ramp is now open from 43rd. Just a brief slowdown there, and also a little heavy Roosevelt into downtown. It's about 18 minutes from 95th to downtown. Outbound, there's road work again at 87th. No delay there. Other expressways and tollways still look good at this hour. There is an issue on the northwest side involving a power outage in the area around Peterson and Cicero. So traffic signals are not working there. Almost no flight delays this morning at Chicago's airports, despite some weather to the west, which will be affecting perhaps this afternoon and likely tomorrow morning's rush. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection System Traffic Center.
Looking to refinance your home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Sally's heard hundreds of Team Hochberg's ads, so naturally she called the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their Rocket, because she saw their ad pumping gas. Bad move. The Rocket-loving lender quoted Sally a rate higher than us, and closing costs $6,000 more than Team Hochberg's. We explained the exorbitant closing costs and refinanced Sally into a lower rate and credited all of her closing costs. Team Hochberg doesn't have a Rocket, but we have lower rates and substantially lower closing costs than the nation's largest online Rocket-loving lender. You could call the nation's largest online lender who spends millions promoting their Rocket by charging excessive closing costs, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Ever hire a plumber at an odd time for an emergency? The hourly rate could send you into cardiac arrest. It'd be nice to have someone on call 24/7 for those once every few year emergencies, but probably not necessary. Now your business is IT? That's a completely different story. The potential for problems if your IT system isn't properly maintained could be more than those once every few year plumbing backups. For peace of mind, turn to Turnkey IT. Their monthly support contracts will keep your business's computer systems online and running well. No more waiting for an hourly IT tech to get back to you and charging you an enormous after-hours rate. The certified pros at Turnkey will keep your business's computer system online with unlimited on-site and remote support. And for a limited time, you can save up to $500 a month on a support contract, plus unlimited cloud backup at no cost. Get the secure feeling your business backbone is supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with zero or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Quiet on set and action.
Get ready for the GOA Regional Business Association's 2018 Business Expo and join in the competition as businesses decorate their booths based on their favorite movie themes. It's the GOA 2018 Business Expo, presented by Comcast Business, and takes place Thursday, March 15th from 2 to 6 p.m. at Avalon Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Meet over 100 local business vendors, including the team from AM 560 The Answer. Enjoy local food and drinks, raffles, and giveaways. Plus, your business card will get you in for free. You can sign up now at thegoa.com. Explore business services in our community and vote for your favorite movie-themed booth. Again, admission is free. Just bring your business card. Visit thegoa.com to get all the details. Remember, if you're looking to grow your business, think GOA. Visit thegoa.com today. That's thegoa.com.
And cut. That's a wrap.
It's tax season. Are you prepared? Do you need help? It's time to call your trusted tax advisor, Timothy C. Wolf, who's a CPA with over 35 years' experience in tax planning and preparation. Tim is knowledgeable about the current as well as the new 2018 tax legislation. Tim will complete your return while you wait, where possible, or in as little as 48 hours. And he'll have your tax return electronically filed with any refund being directly deposited to your account. As a Food for the Poor business benefactor, Tim challenges new and existing clients to contribute to Food for the Poor, with any new client contributions matched up to $50. Call 847-818-0400 to schedule an appointment. All new clients will receive a 20% discount off their 2017 tax preparation fees, as well as a free review of your past 3 tax returns. 1 in 3 reviews have resulted in refunds up to $50,000. Now is the time to call or text Tim at 847-818-0400 to schedule your appointment, or go to timwolfcpa.com to find out more.
Latoria Brothers Construction Company is a proud sponsor of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. Turn to Latoria Brothers Construction Company for all your commercial, industrial, or retail construction needs. New construction, renovations, interior remodeling, facility expansions, and tenant owner build-outs. Latoria Brothers Construction Company has you covered from start to finish. From design concept through construction completion, Latoria Brothers offers a single-source proactive approach. Their family has been providing a high level of excellence in service, reliability, and experience since 1948. Latoria Brothers. They'll modify services to accommodate your construction needs no matter what size and scope. Consulting, design, build, construction management, general contracting. Achieve your vision and dream for your facility. Save time and money. Make Latoria Brothers part of your construction team. Quality workmanship, on time, on budget. Visit LatoriaConstruction.com or call 630-766-3036. Latoria Brothers. Shaking hands, not fists.
AM 560, The Answer.
The other big event over the weekend, President Trump made the Gridiron Club dinner this year. He skipped it last year.
Yeah.
Now, this is not televised. You can't bring cameras in, so you don't get audio. But this is sort of like a White House Correspondents' Dinner in that the president makes fun of himself and other people.
Yeah, self-deprecating humor. Yeah.
Right, and one of the great lines reported from it, nobody does self-deprecating humor better than I do. It's not even close.
The one that, well, I know you have a list of highlights, but one that I saw that I thought, ooh, it wouldn't go there. He joked, about Sessions and Kushner, but he also joked, so many people have been leaving the White House. It's actually been really exciting and invigorating because you want new thoughts. So I like turnover. I like chaos. It's really good. Now the question everybody keeps asking, who's going to be next to leave? Steve Miller or Melania?
That's all right. It's all right.
If your husband's having an alleged affair with a porn star right after you give birth to your child, I wouldn't be joking around about that. Is there something fun?
We're going to reduce the carbon footprint.
Yeah.
when we travel by shrinking the press pool, so we're only going to have room for Sean Hannity, Lou Dobbs, and Judge Janine. That's not bad. All right.
That's good.
More Trump punchlines. I won't rule out direct contact with Kim Jong-un. I just won't. As far as the risk of dealing with a madman is concerned, that's his problem, not mine.
Oh. Ew.
Do we get a rim shot here? I mean, what do we sleep at the switch? Come on.
No, just
Where's Buddy Rich when you need him? I was very excited to receive this invitation and ruin your evening in person. That's why I accepted. It's been a very tough year for CNN. They've lost a tremendous amount of credibility this year. And your best reporter, Steve Bannon. On the New York Times, I'm a New York icon. You're a New York icon. The only difference is I still own my buildings. Yeah, not terrible.
He said he was late because, and Kushner was late because he couldn't get security
Through
clearance.
security. Yeah, he could get through. Yeah, that's not bad. And Kushner looked splendid in that.
Pee Wee Herman suit, he was wearing? Oh,
no, I thought he was in that big ballroom gown.
Oh.
I can't tell those two apart anymore.
Oh, it's so scary. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is it good for business to publicly repudiate the NRA? Megan McArdle writes in the Washington Post that not such a good idea. We'll discuss at 5:38.
And later, have you ever had a relationship with a vegetable? That question being asked at Michigan State. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
32 degrees, some clouds. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560. The Answer, the USS aircraft carrier Carl Vinson is in Vietnam for the first time since the war. Vinson arrived Monday to kick off a 5-day visit, underscoring improved relations between the two nations, sending a strong message to China. The head of Italy's anti-immigrant Eurosceptic League party that says the shared euro currency is wrong and ultimately destined to end. In Italy's national election Sunday, Matteo Salvini's right-wing League Party did much better than expected, getting nearly 18% of the vote. They'll take the reins of a center-right bloc, which captured about 37% of the vote. Italy's stock market is down after the Populist Party did very well. A statewide strike by West Virginia teachers enters a new week with no resolution in sight. Teachers are waiting for state lawmakers to agree on differences in a pay raise package. Jury selection continues in federal court in Orlando today for the trial of the widow of the Pulse nightclub gunman. Noir Salman is accused of obstruction of justice. The Shape of Water Best Picture winner in the 90th Academy Awards. Guillermo del Toro won the Best Director Oscar for his fantasy love story. Frances McDormand won her second Best Actress Oscar for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Best Actor went to Gary Oldman.
I would just like to salute Sir Winston Churchill, who has been marvelous company on what can be described as an incredible journey.
And comedian director Jordan Peele nabbed Best Original Screenplay for his film Get Out.
I stopped writing this movie about 20 times because I thought it was impossible. I thought it wasn't going to work. I thought no one would ever make this movie. But I kept coming back to it because I knew if someone let me make this movie, that people would hear it and people would see it.
Sam Rockwell is an Oscar winner for his supporting role in Three Billboards. A winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland later today. National Weather Service says snow likely to begin falling around 4 this afternoon, lasting until midnight, 2 to 4 inches possible. A 19-year-old Central Michigan University student is charged with open murder and felony firearms for the shooting deaths of his parents Friday when they arrived on campus to take him home for spring break. James Davis Jr. attended Plainfield South High School for 3 years, graduated from Plainfield Central. His mother and father were killed. Davis Sr. was a police officer in West Suburban Bellwood. Federal judge has green-lighted a lawsuit by 7 police officers against Aurora after an official there sent the police officers' addresses, phone numbers, and other personnel records to a purported street gang leader they helped imprison who was serving an 88-year prison sentence. College basket's Big Ten tournament wraps up with Michigan beating Purdue in the title game. Loyola punches its ticket to the Big Dance. They knock off Illinois State 65-49 in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament title game. The News is a service of TrueCar. Looking to buy a car? Online shopping can be confusing, but not anymore with True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know the exact price you'll pay for the car you want and see what other people paid for it, too. When you're ready to buy a car, new or used, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. 5:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher needs the rhetoric dialed down.
The ongoing assault on the NRA, they don't have blood on their hands. They're not a terrorist organization. And until that kind of rhetoric and that kind of nonsense is eliminated, if you think you're going to make any progress on gun control, you're out of your mind.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Why do we call it small business? Why not agile business, nimble business, dance circles around the big bulky behemoths business? Ooma Office, the small business phone solution, has a virtual receptionist to direct calls to the right extension and a mobile app to help you answer while away from the office. About all that's small really is the price, starting at only $19.95 a month. Visit Ooma.com, that's OOMA, or call 866-649-9377 to find out more. Ooma, the phone your small business deserves.
Follow the world's best golfers at the 82nd Masters Tournament, April 2nd through the 8th on the tournament's official website, Masters.com. Log on all week long to experience a tradition unlike any other, and follow the Masters on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Masters.com offers live full-screen HD video coverage, including the Par 3 contest, plus real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute tournament news, and more. Masters.com, your official online source for the 2018 Masters.
It is 5:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. A fairly quiet start on the roads right now. The Edens is clear. Kennedy looking good. Express lanes open inbound. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower, though traffic starting to build in that area around 25th Avenue. Down Stevenson, a little tight Cicero to Kedzie. It's a 2-minute delay. Inbound Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Slow 18th into the Burns Circle. Outbound okay, though there's road work at 87th. There are 3 left lanes. Bishop Ford, 18 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Other expressways and tollways are looking good. You have the northwest side, signals out Peterson and Cicero. There's a power outage reported there. Traffic service of Indeed.com. Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. For business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions and sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, windy, periods of rain turning to snow this afternoon, a high of 41. Currently 34. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And is it good business to publicly slight 5 million NRA members? This is a topic that Megan McArdle takes up in the Washington Post over the weekend. I think this is her first column in the Washington Post. She moved over from Bloomberg. And she specifically points up Delta Airlines. Remember when companies tried to stay out of politics? I'd imagine Delta Airlines is recalling those days very fondly. The airline bowed to pressure from liberal activists to stop offering a group discount to the NRA's annual convention. Now it's facing a backlash from Georgia Republicans. Given that Delta's headquarters and biggest hub are in Atlanta, that's a big problem. They were trying to keep out of politics, but in effect because they kowtow to leftist shakedown artists. They've put themselves in the center of politics. Last week, the Georgia lieutenant governor suggested that he'll try and spike any legislation that would benefit Delta Airlines because of their public repudiation of NRA members, effectively. Good idea, bad idea for corporations to yield to political pressure, insert themselves even if they're trying not to. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
If I had known there were so many discounts for NRA members, car rentals, airlines, I would have signed up a long time ago. I had no idea that I know that if you're, AAA, you get, discounts, but NRA discounts, it's amazing.
Well, in response to the list of companies that repudiate the NRA, many people, including myself, offered the, this just in, Delta or
United.
Yeah, the rental car companies and so forth. I'm not an NRA member for the discounts. So if I have to pay full price for my Ford Taurus that I rent, then and still be a member of the NRA,
for free.
Then that's fine. That's not the issue. But I will remember these companies that repudiated me. It's very much like like Howard Schultz. You don't want to cater to conservatives. You don't want to have conservatives patronize your establishment. No problem. I won't go to Starbucks. Not a problem. It turns out there are substitutes for your product. And Megan McArdle makes this point, suggesting that companies and industries that benefit greatly from economies of scale, such as shipping or airlines, can't stay in business by catering to small, fanatically partisan fan bases. They need to appeal as broadly as possible, so publicly slighting millions of NRA members and the many more millions who feel some tribal kinship with them is unlikely to be good for any such business. She goes on to add, nor is it likely to be good for the country, oh, by the way, for what happens to an increasingly demographically sorted America when we no longer share even our basic commercial culture. If we can't even fly in the same airlines or drive the same rental cars, why should New York bankers and Silicon Valley engineers pay taxes that disproportionately flow to rural red states? Why should the sons and daughters of those rural areas disproportionately staff the military that defends them? And how are these two completely separate peoples to jointly decide on the running of one vast country? Good questions that she raises.
Well, I mean, they passed legislation in retaliation, the Georgia House, to kill tax exemptions on jet fuel that Delta uses. But if you live in Georgia, your only choice really is Delta.
The only thing
I mean, that's a problem. Good luck. Well, you can go to American United, and but it's
the one thing
they own two gates there.
The one thing I would say about this, though, is
terminals. Excuse me.
The whole idea of I'm not going to support, like the Georgia lieutenant governor. I'm not going to support legislation that benefits Delta. Good. You shouldn't, and you shouldn't support specific legislation where the state government is involved in picking winners and losers or benefiting some companies to the expense of others in a particular sector across the board. So if this gets people out of, essentially providing these special deals, benefits, waivers, insider arrangements like we see here in this kleptocracy, then good. You shouldn't be in the business of subsidizing or benefiting Delta to the expense of others and other airlines. That's good public policy.
The CEO, Ed Bastian, said, our decision was not made for economic gain, and our values are not for sale.
Yeah, well, we'll put that to the test.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, okay.
But by the way,
FedEx, by the way, is not ending their relationship with the NRA.
Correct. Dick's.
Sporting Goods is.
Yeah. Some employees of Dick's
Sporting Goods
are quitting their jobs and claiming systematic discrimination after the retailer stopped selling guns to shoppers under the age of 21. Oh, isn't this fun? Don't you love it when the argument is turned against them? A couple of young employees said the new gun policies are discriminatory. Mm-hmm. I cannot be the face of these new gun policies in effect reads a letter posted by one former Dick's
Sporting Goods
employee. I find them morally and constitutionally wrong. I refuse to be a part of a corporation with these liberal policies. Well, I wonder if CNN will raise the profile of these young people and their particular viewpoints on guns in general and Dick's
Sporting Goods
in particular. Ari and Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. You know, this is not the first time that the leftist people have coerced a large corporation into divesting from a right-wing cause or a right-wing endeavor. And I think it's time for us now to start fighting fire with fire and boycotting companies that won't go along with us and our beliefs.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the call, Ari. Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Yeah, hey, Dan. I totally agree with the people that are boycotting these companies. When Starbucks pulled their shenanigans with Christmas, I stopped immediately and basically told everybody else. And the thing is with these taking a stand against NRA, totally wrong, totally. Yep.
All right. Thanks for the call, Craig. I do miss those deep, thoughtful conversations about race I used to have with my barista at Starbucks.
Oh, that's right.
But
I love those
I've
conversations.
moved past it. Yeah. I learned so much.
I never forget that. I said, "How are you feeling today?" And I said, "Do you want to talk about race?" And I said, "Well," he said, "Well, what don't I know about you?" And I said, "Well, I have kids who are minorities." You do? Yeah, they're Puerto Rican, and we.
Finally, can we finally have the conversation about race in America?
And
who
then
better
I said,
to have it with than you,
my 19-year-old
George?
No, he had nose pierce.
Yeah,
of
course,
some tats. It was
I mean,
great.
it's a
just
great moment in understanding.
Well, I engaged him just to see what he had to say, and it was quite comical. And I think he learned more from me than I did from him.
Wow. Well,
that white people can't have minority children.
Yeah. Right, multiracial
Don't just
families.
look at me and think, oh, that's just another white chick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm deeper than that.
Well, that's right, and it was nice that you could come together, race together, if you will, around your shared hatred of white people. That does tend to bring people together, so those are nice moments. By the way, speaking of youngsters, and they're turning out to be diversity of opinion among youngsters with how some of these adults are making judgment calls on guns, but also on how schools operate. Did you see this story out of New Jersey? Cherry Hill High School East in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
What happened?
Timothy Locke, a very popular teacher, placed on leave for telling students that their school could suffer the same tragedy as the Parkland High School. And
oh, my gosh. And what? That's not...
wait for it.
Okay.
And in the event that something happened, they were talking about the prospect of arming teachers and staff. The event that policy would be implemented at the school, he would probably be one of those armed because he's an Iraq War veteran. So he's having an adult conversation with these high school students.
Yeah, bad idea.
I'm sorry, why is that a bad idea?
Because they can't handle it.
Well, it's not the kids that can't handle it, apparently. It's the adults. And here again we go with judgment calls. Listen to what went down with Timothy Locke.
A situation similar to the Florida shooting could happen there because campus police are not armed. Locke then reportedly agreed with President Trump that teachers should be armed, saying he'd be the one with the gun. Most students were fine with the comments, but at least one, who spoke anonymously to local media, said the remarks verged on reckless, quoting, "We were shocked and taken aback, but brushed it off as something he would say. Before, it had never been anything related to him. It was just general commentary." After the principal was told about the comments, Timothy Locke told Philly.com that he was called into the office, placed on paid leave, had his belongings searched, and was ordered to undergo a physical and mental health exam. When asked about his conversation in class, Locke told the website, quote, "I was adamantly concerned with the welfare of my students, and his students are clearly concerned about him." His suspension triggered 2 days of demonstrations and a firestorm of criticism from both students and their parents, who say they have long appreciated Mr. Locke's candor.
is ridiculous.
We had to walk out, and it was like an open forum in the auditorium led by the principal of our school, explained one student. It was basically just a big cycle of question being what happened to Mr. Locke, and the principal saying, I can't answer that right now. It's definitely a lot of secrecy and just a lot of the same thing over and over again. We, the student body, definitely started to get frustrated, and I did personally, because at the end of the day, I just wanted my teacher back, the student calling Mr. Locke his favorite teacher by far. And another student saying, I feel if the teachers and campus police are properly trained with a gun and with a firearm, they should be able to be there with a rifle or with a pistol or whatever in case a school shooting does happen. It's possible that a shooting could happen at our school. We would feel a lot safer if the teachers and campus police were armed. That's the viewpoint of one student. Will you see that student on CNN being asked impertinent questions by Don Lemon or one of the other ladies? Probably not. But this goes to judgment calls again. Zero tolerance, lobotomized administrators, running scared. You invariably make the wrong decision when you make it out of a basis in fear. And that's what you now have. That's what you now have because of our hysteria culture happening at schools. And it's interesting that the students at Cherry Hill High School East in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, are more thoughtful, are more measured, are more stable than the adults allegedly in charge of educating them. Commentary, and a sad one.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in the bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
The expensive mattress you're considering buying is a waste of money because it isn't customized to you. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, the only place to get a customized mattress starting at just $600. Just go to HelixSleep.com, fill out our 2-minute sleep survey, and we'll design a mattress made just for you with a 100-night sleep trial and financing as low as 0%. For a limited time, get $50 off your mattress order when you go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio. That's HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Guns have no moral agency. Predators hurt and kill people. Often they use a gun. Good guys protect people. Often they use a gun. When a predator kills with a gun, he is rightly called a monster. When a good guy with a gun fails to protect people, he's rightly called a coward. The very nature of the way we discuss an atrocity like the Parkland school shooting conveys our understanding that it's bad guys and good guys who are responsible for what they do and not the instrumentality they use in their conduct. So arguing that the response to the deadly success of the shooter and the failure of the deputy sheriff is to reduce the number of good guys and their instrumentality choices does not logically follow from the accepted premise. And neither does the failure of state agencies locally and federally to exercise the power they currently possess make the case for expanding their power at the expense of our rights. No amount of emergency planning or algorithmic modeling or government power can replace the variety of human judgment calls that will be thrust upon a free people. The question then isn't what's in my holster, it's what's in my head and my heart.
If you're a small business, first impressions can make all the difference. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a professional business phone system on your mobile phone. Choose a business phone number, make calls and send texts, making it easy for you and your customers to stay connected. Even get voicemails transcribed. Set up your account in minutes with no long-term contracts and 24/7 customer support. Make your small business big. Now get $20 off your plan when you visit grasshopper.com/radio. That's grasshopper.com/radio.
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Picture your son in 10 years. What kind of man do you hope to see? I know you want your son to be a man of character. It's Dan Proft, and I urge you to consider Northridge Prep, ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois for 2 years running, and a top 100 high school in America from U.S. News. Don't miss their open house on March 25th. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12 located in Niles. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. They instill the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm and energy. It's a good place to be a boy. Every teacher is a great role model who gets to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, and have top athletics and arts programs. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on March 25th. To learn more, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
It is 5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy Expressway inbound, it's heavy from the River Road toll to Nagel with a crash in the left lane. 25 minutes downtown to O'Hare, outbound 26, so central to Sayre. Traffic is also heavy on westbound 190 from Kennedy to Tri-State. Eden's still okay. The Eisenhower, 33 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson inbound delays start around 1st Avenue. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's good. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is still clear. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes, 8094 to the Verge. No delays to report on the tollways or northwest Indiana. Roadwork starts today in Lake Station on Ripley in both directions. 8094 on the Indiana Toll Road. Traffic and service at Lowe's. Get an extra 5% off purchases every day at Lowe's on items big or small. You use your Lowe's Advantage card. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Subject to credit approval and can't be combined with any other credit offers. Exclusions apply. See store for details. U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A winter weather advisory in effect from 6 p.m. this evening until midnight tonight. Mostly cloudy today with wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour, periods of late afternoon rain, high 42, then periods of evening snow, an inch or two, low 30. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
33 at O'Hare, 32 along Chicago's lakefront. The news, a service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners and brochures. Now at Staples, get $5 off your next print and marketing services purchase. You spend $50 or more. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only. Ends 3/24. Exclusions apply at Staples. 5:59, and here are the stories we're following this morning. On AM 560, The Answer, a winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland today. The winter weather advisory goes into effect around 4 this afternoon. An investigation continues after 3 underage teens were shot on Chicago's west side. Chicago police expanding the use of modern efforts to combat crime in the city. One person hurt following a house fire over the weekend in Oswego that caused about $450,000 worth of damage. Cubs and White Sox both continue spring baseball. Bulls back on the hardwood tonight, welcoming the Celtics to town in Loyola, champions of the Missouri Valley. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Movies and the Me Too movement at the Academy Awards. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The fantasy romance The Shape of Water wins the Oscar for Best Picture, also Best Director, Guillermo del Toro. There was some politics sprinkled into the speeches and the host Jimmy Kimmel's monologue on ABC.
We don't make films like Call Me By Your Name for money. We make them to upset Mike Pence.
That movie's about a relationship between two men. It won for Best Adapted Screenplay. Best Original Screenplay goes to Jordan Peele for Get Out. He's the first African-American to win that award. Acting awards go to Frances McDormand, Gary Oldman, Allison Janney, and Sam Rockwell. Harvey Weinstein accusers Ashley Judd, Salma Hayek, and Annabella Sciorra introduced a video about changing the movie industry to make it more diverse and less hostile to women. President Trump meets today at the White House with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the president has some other allies angry over import taxes on metal he plans to impose. Fox's Rachel Sutherland's live in Washington.
Chris, the president expected to sign tariffs on aluminum and steel this week. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross made the rounds on the Sunday shows, telling NBC's Meet the Press there's no reason to think the president will change his mind.
Well, I think you have to take the president at his word. He made campaign promises. He's pretty well proven so far he intends to keep his campaign promises.
The president announced last week the administration would impose a 25% tariff on steel and 10% on aluminum. White House officials say there will be no exceptions, even for Canada. Chris.
And that's our biggest importer there, Canada. Rachel, thanks. An American aircraft carrier is in a Vietnamese port for the first time since the Vietnam War. The USS Carl Vinson is in Da Nang with more than 5,000 crew members. The mission includes sharing technical information, visits to an orphanage, and a center for victims of Agent Orange. That's the defoliant sprayed by our military during the war. The U.S. normalized relations with Vietnam in 1995, ending the trade embargo, arms embargo in 2016. Fox News, fair and balanced.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by 1-800-4-BLINDS, Chicago. Blinds, shades, and shutters.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Founding father and Bill of Rights signer George Mason stated, "To disarm the people is the best and most effectual way to enslave them." All Second Amendment supporters would strongly agree.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
You work hard to recruit the best talent for your business, so you know today's candidates want perks they can enjoy every day. Give them the healthy, active office culture they're looking for with Veridesk Standing Desk Solutions. The new Veridesk ProDesk 60 Electric is a commercial-grade electric standing desk that lets you sit or stand with the touch of a button, and it assembles in under 5 minutes. To learn more about the ProDesk 60 Electric, visit Veridesk.com/radio. That's VARIdesk.com/radio.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Daryl has hired with Indeed.
Nothing has been this simple, this easy, and this effective.
Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Some news over the weekend. Some of our erstwhile enemies, Russia and North Korea, making news. One, Russia on the missile defense front. Yeah. Well, the ability to pierce our missile defenses.
Yeah, a missile that could hit Florida. That's a direct shot to President Trump.
The avant-garde missiles. This is obviously didn't start in development when Trump was elected. This has been in the making for years. But the unveiling of the avant-garde missiles, and then North Korea, that little tin horn dictator. Going back to, because apparently he forgot some of his Olympic swag in Pyeongchang.
No, yeah, his sister did. So he went back to Pyeongchang, and he's meeting with high-ranking South Korea delegation in Pyeongchang.
For more details on the implications of both of these developments in both of these countries, we're pleased to be joined by Cedric Leighton, CNN military analyst and security consultant who served on both the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the National Security Council. Colonel Leighton, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet, Dan. Anytime.
So why don't we start with Russia and give us your kind of threat assessment on the as it pertains to the avant-garde missiles?
Well, these missiles are really hypersonic weapons, which means they can go a lot faster than any of the missiles that are currently in Russia's inventory. The other part of it is that they are, at least some of them, are supposedly nuclear engine powered, which means that they have unlimited range, at least in theory. So when that happens, if you create a system like that, it is basically designed to go after all of the missile defense systems that the United States and its allies have. And if that's the case, it would not only create a military problem for us, but it also creates a lot of violations of existing treaties, INF treaties, the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty, and other treaties that are designed to cap weapons of this type. So what Putin is trying to do, whether or not these missiles actually work, is to sow fear in the West and to basically say, we've got weapons, don't attack us, don't do anything that makes difficulties for Russia as we move into areas like Ukraine and possibly other areas of Europe, and of course as they move into Syria and consolidate their hold on parts of Syria.
But will the U.S. be able to stop Russia's new arsenal of weapons?
So that's an interesting question, Amy. I think that the answer is we can't prevent them from developing these types of weapons unless there's a treaty that's put in place to specifically prohibit them. Mm-hmm. And then you have to be careful that that treaty not be violated. Short of physically attacking weapons as they're being developed or as they're being put into their bases or moved around, depending on the type of weapon, it would be very hard to actually interdict them. It can be done, but you need really good intelligence to do that. And as far as stopping them in mid-flight, that is, given current technology, practically impossible if they work as Putin has advertised.
All right, so from one nuclear threat to the other, let's go to North Korea. And what are we to make, if anything, of this perhaps thawing of relations between North and South Korea?
Well, this is very interesting. It kind of reminds me of the time in the 1970s when, at the time, West Germany did some dealings with the then Soviet Union. So, this could be, if we coordinated things correctly with the South Koreans, it could be kind of a carrot and stick approach. In this case, the South Koreans are providing carrots to the North. We stay in the background for at least a bit and provide the threat of a stick, if you could use that analogy. I think that in the case of the situation with North and South Korea, North Korea is feeling desperate. The sanctions are beginning to bite. They are feeling the need to go in and actually make some changes to not only their leadership, but also to the way they run things and how they get money, which is really the most important thing for them. Since they're feeling desperate, or at least some pressure, they are willing to talk. They are not going to give up their nuclear weapons program. They're not going to give up any nuclear weapons in spite of what the U.S. wants them to do. So we have to realize that they see this as part of the way that they can secure their sovereignty and their control over the northern part of Korea.
But do you think this could eventually lead to the North having talks with the U.S.?
I think it could. I think it's definitely possible. Certainly the U.S. has at times signaled that they're open to talks. Whether it's the president himself or Secretary Tillerson or some other members of the administration. I think that in this case, one strategy would be to let the South Koreans talk to the North, as long as we're coordinating with the South Koreans and there's no real daylight between us. It could work, and then those talks between South Korea and North Korea could pave the way for talks between the U.S. and North Korea. We have to be careful, I believe, not to elevate the North Koreans to too high a status diplomatically and internationally, but we also have to realize that they do pose a danger not only to our forces that are stationed in South Korea, but also to the United States at large with the development of their intercontinental missile capabilities.
Trey Gowdy was on with Maria Bartiromo over the weekend talking about FISA abuses after the competing memos have been released. And he had this to say, listen.
Congress has proven itself incapable of investigating this FISA abuse. DOJ should not be looking into it. We need an independent arbiter. That's either the Inspector General or Special Counsel.
And Gowdy went on to suggest that the Inspector General, Horowitz, who he trusts, the problem is that there are so many people that are no longer at justice, and so they're beyond his purview, thus probably the need for a second special counsel. You served on the Joint Chiefs. You served on the National Security Council. What's your take on the allegations of FISA abuse in the collusion case and Gowdy's suggestion that probably a second independent counsel is needed to investigate the alleged abuses?
Well, on the surface of it, you'd have to say that, if there is any question on how things were done, a special counsel or an inspector general, would certainly be a useful way to look at that. I think that, unfortunately, it's divided the country, those who look at the special counsel that is investigating Russian collusion with the Trump campaign and potentially the Trump administration. That is kind of a favorite of the Democratic side. And, of course, the Republicans tend to look at things like the FISA abuse and what Representative Gowdy talked about. I look at it this way. If there is any question, it should be investigated. When I look at the procedures that I know have been followed in the case of those alleged FISA abuses, I don't see real abuses in these situations. And the reason I say that is that there was enough suspicion in the case of Carter Page to warrant a look at what his activities were. It doesn't mean he is guilty, but what it does mean is, this is a person who, from a counterintelligence perspective, had really close relationships with a hostile foreign power.
He also had a close relationship with the FBI.
Well, and so that's something that, if that is the case, you have to look at, what was he doing and for whom? I mean, if he is a counterintelligence agent, or somebody in employee of the FBI, either as an agent or as another entity, then of course that becomes a completely different issue.
What about the failure to be fully transparent, though? The FBI's failure to be fully transparent with the FISA court with respect to the dossier, which really wasn't disputed by the Schiff
dossier is a very
memo.
interesting document, and when you look at what one side says, they say yes, it was paid for by opposition research. So what it sounds like happened in this particular case, and there are lots of reports on on different aspects of this, but what it sounds like happened here is that they did say yes, it was paid for by a political entity. They may not have made it explicitly clear who that entity was, and I think that should have been done. I think it should be very clear that, in the case of the dossier, the original research or the initial research was paid for by Republican opposition research elements. The second part of it, of course, was paid by Democrats, and that should always be known by the courts. And, if there was a mistake made in that regard, then that, of course, should be corrected.
Yesterday, Lindsey Graham was on Face the Nation, telling I don't even know who the commentator was, that he hopes that John Kelly stays and H.R. McMaster stays on. But what do you think is H.R. McMaster's future? I mean, he soldiers on, but he seems like to be trapped between competing agendas.
Yeah, this is one of the real debates that people have about the position of National Security Advisor. Should there be a military person in that position, or should it be somebody with national security experience but who is not currently serving in the military? And we've used both models throughout the history of the position of the National Security Advisor. For General H.R. McMaster, you're right, he is going to soldier on, and that's what military people do. We do that, until we get other orders, and that is sometimes something that doesn't work very well when there are a lot of political agendas out there, because military people have their own kind of politics, but it's not the same kind that is practiced either in the West Wing of the White House or in the halls of Congress. So McMaster is going to, I think, it's inevitable that he's going to leave at some point. The stories circulating right now indicate that he will not continue on in the military, and that will be a big loss for the Army and for the nation. But he may end up working at a think tank. Stanford was, the Hoover Institution was one possibility that was talked about, and he certainly will contribute there. He is probably the foremost military intellectual currently serving in the U.S. military, and that is certainly a talent that the nation needs in whatever capacity he chooses to serve.
So the focus, of course, is Russian collusion. Yet over the weekend, the New York Times now raising the specter of UAE collusion. United Arab Emirates. George Nader, a Lebanese-American businessman who the New York Times describes as hovering on the fringes of international diplomacy for 30 years, back-channel negotiator with Syria during the Clinton administration, reinvented himself a couple of different times, including as an advisor in the United Arab Emirates. Frequent visitor to President Trump's White House. Questions that maybe Special Counsel Mueller is looking for answers to as it pertains to Nader and his interaction with Trump fundraisers for the purposes of funneling foreign money into the Trump campaign. Do you have any perspective on UAE collusion allegations?
Well, I've worked a bit in the Middle East, both in the military and in my post-military career, and that's certainly something worth looking into. And not that there's any indication at the moment, at least, that anybody did anything wrong on the Trump side of things. It's still important to know what these foreign governments are trying to do. And it's very clear, has been very clear for quite some time that the United Arab Emirates specifically has been seeking to influence U.S. policies, U.S. politics. They have a fairly strong lobbying arm here in Washington. They do a lot of different things. As far as I know, so far most of them legal and permitted by law, but there are a lot of shady characters that work in and around the Middle East, and there are plenty of opportunities to launder money, plenty of opportunities for countries like the UAE to serve as brokers between let's say Russia and the United States as an example. And there are a lot of things that usually at least call some question into the way they are conducted. So, the special counsel, may very well find some things to look at. They may or may not implicate people in the Trump campaign or even in the administration, but it's very clear that the United Arab Emirates has sought to influence elections in the past, or at least the outcome of U.S. policy. And, the same can be said for some of the other nations in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and a few others. But what you see is an opportunity, I think, for the special counsel to look at different connections and determine whether or not they were proper.
He is Colonel Cedric Leighton, CNN military analyst and security consultant who served on both the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the National Security Council. Colonel Leighton, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Dan. Thanks so much. You guys have a great day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, move over multi-race couples. Now we have multi-weight couples. Dan, you're going to want to pay attention. But first, here's your forecast. Today, mostly cloudy, windy, and it is coming. A storm is on its way. We're going to have rain late this afternoon, a high of 41. Then tonight, that rain turns into snow, anywhere from a dusting to an inch. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a couple of rain or snow showers in the afternoon, a high, again, of 41 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy in Third Lake had a crash at 45 and Rollins Road. There's one in Niles Greenwood at Gulf Road. Edens is heavy now inbound Devon to Montrose. 22 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 19. Kennedy. Crash at Nagel now on the right shoulder. Looking at about 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound the same. The delays start at Montrose. Heavy also on westbound 190. Kennedy to Manheim. About Eisenhower still Manheim to Harlem. 38 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop, 422 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway is heavy from the Tri-State out of the Kennedy. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Yep. Traffic. It is what it is.
Stalled cars on the Kennedy Expressway.
Missed concerts, football games, lots of cold dinners, and cold shoulders from Cindy. How much longer do I have to do this? Kids miss me. Cindy misses me. Our marriage is missing me.
From Taboda and Associates.
Then I heard Jack Taboda on the radio again.
Financial strategy designed to help them retire sooner.
What do I have to lose? So I called him. We met, discussed my numbers, then just talked. Talked about life, family, retirement, then something I didn't expect. Jack says retirement wasn't as far off as I thought. And today, the only thing I'm missing is the traffic.
Do you need a financial strategy for retirement? Let's talk. Taboda and Associates, 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Taboda and Associates are not affiliated companies.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was always just sort of feeling tired. And so I said, maybe this will just help in overall vitality. But in the past couple of years that I've been taking it, I find my energy has been great. I've been sleeping better. I don't get the cravings for junk food as often as I used to. I really attribute it to the product. it's so easy to use. Even if I want to take a capsule for my daughter and I just pull it apart to mix it in some juice or something, it's just something I'm very grateful to be able to incorporate. I really love the product. I think it's made such a difference.
Generally feel better, generally have better energy and more stamina. Breathing is easier, walking is easier. You're not in pain anymore, all right? I could go on and on.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modification successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
The great General George S. Patton once said, "It is better to fight for something than to live for nothing." Now there is timeless advice for everybody and a reminder of the danger of complacency.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
Trump. I support Trump, but he needs somebody around him who can say no to him. We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
All right, now Dan and Amy. Pardon the interruption. The left, Danny Davis, the Mad P. Hatters, Obama, the big government press corps. Nobody can be bothered with. They don't have time to address Louis Farrakhan's vicious anti-Semitism.
Oh, haven't they separated themselves from him?
Oh, have they? Louis Farrakhan, end of last month, at a Savior Sunday address. The powerful Jews are my enemy, and white folks are going down. Jews were responsible for all of this filth and degenerate behavior that Hollywood is putting out. That's Louis Farrakhan. White folks are going down, and Satan is going down, and Farrakhan, by God's grace, has pulled a cover off the satanic Jew. And I'm here to say your time is up and your world is through.
It's a cult.
Interesting. So, reactions. Jerusalem Post makes the point that those Mad P-headers...
Where are they?
don't have time to comment on Farrakhan, the ADL. And the audience at last weekend's conference was Tamika Mallory, one of the leaders of the Women's March, who got a special shout-out from Farrakhan and regularly posts laudatory pictures of him on her Instagram account, as does Carmen Perez, another leader of the march. Linda Sarsour, anti-Semite, bigot, scumbag in her own right, another march organizer, spoke and participated at a Nation of Islam event 2015. Her most notable response to the incendiary remarks this year was a glowing post on Perez's Facebook to praise Farrakhan's youthful demeanor. Tell that to your P-hat friends in Lakeview, what they're suborning. Why don't you? Danny Davis, master of the four-word filibuster.
He's your congressman, right?
He is. I'm a global individual, so I know Farrakhan. I'm a global individual. So I know Farrakhan.
lives down the street.
Yeah, boy.
Well, 72nd Street. Yeah.
Rich. I know the Middle East question. I know the Jews and Farrakhan. Danny Davis, I know the Jews. Okay. I know all that, but that's not what I spend my time focused on. Davis continued, breaking into a laugh. This is funny. I know Farrakhan, been knowing him for years and years and years and years and years. That's a lot of years.
Yeah.
I'm quoting him. He said years 5 times.
Years
and
years and years and years and years. Okay.
Every once in a while, some writer or somebody will, I guess, try to think of something to say about Farrakhan. But nah, my world is so much bigger than any of that. I don't have time for that. I deal with it, when it comes, but nah, that's not really a part of my focus. That's just one segment of what goes on in the world. The world is so much bigger than Farrakhan and the Jewish question and his position on that and so forth. For those heavy into it, that's their thing, but it ain't my thing.
Should it be his thing? No.
Combating anti-Semitism. Had somebody said this about African Americans? Had somebody said this about Farrakhan? Do you think there would be a response?
Last time I went to a Farrakhan conference, they wouldn't let me leave because it was the mail door. And I looked at them and I said, I'm Episcopalian and I don't care. I'm leaving out this door. And I walked out. I said, arrest me if you have to. That is a cult, I am telling you. And they're crazy.
Try to, find more hateful speech that's tolerated than that coming from Louis Farrakhan's mouth. Find it. Try.
And nobody
The Chicago Press Corps, the D.C. Press Corps, every incarnation of the left. Silence. Excuses. Support. That's the left.
Well, when I worked at Channel 5, I'm like, why are we even covering him? Why do I even have to go to this Farrakhan conference? Where, by the way, got a cavity search to get in.
That's their thing. It ain't my thing.
I kept it short.
Everybody everybody of the left are global individuals like Danny Davis. They have so many bigger fights. They don't have time to address Farrakhan. Okay.
What does that even mean?
All right.
To be a global individual.
Okay.
Are you a global individual, Dad? Yeah, because we travel the globe. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, who won that jet ski at last night Oscars?
And more on Trump's tariffs with Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross making the rounds on Sunday.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
32 in clouds, southeast winds at 14 miles an hour at 6:32. A winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland today. A winter weather advisory goes into effect at 4. Today is the day President Trump intends to end the DACA program, but the program to protect illegal immigrants brought here as children is tied up in the courts for now. Unions representing West Virginia teachers and service personnel say they'll stay out on strike after the state Senate voted to cut the 5% pay raise they had negotiated with the governor. Authorities are treating a shooting in front of the White House as a suicide. Secret Service says 26-year-old Cameron Burgess of Alabama died after shooting himself near the North White House fence line. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said the president is simply looking to fulfill a promise on tariffs.
What Donald Trump wants to do is fulfill his campaign promises to the American people and defend American workers.
On Fox News Sunday, Navarro explaining what tariffs are asking for is fair and reciprocal trade, adding that he believes downstream effects of tariffs are, in his words, insignificant. The Shape of Water walking away with the biggest accolade after Sunday's Oscars. The film beating out 9 others for Best Picture. Gary Oldman of the drama Darkest Hour landed Best Actor. An investigation is underway after 3 underage teens were shot on Chicago's west side. The shooting happened last night. The victims were standing on a sidewalk in the 4900 block of West Rice. Roger Bannister, you know that name, a lanky medical student from Oxford, decided to electrify the sports world in 1954 and lifted post-war England's spirits when he became the first athlete to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Roger Bannister is dead at the age of 88. Cubs and White Sox continue spring training this week in Arizona. Bulls back on the hardwood tonight, welcoming the Celtics to town. College hoops. Michigan punches their tournament ticket with a Big Ten tournament win over Purdue. Same story for Loyola, who got to the big dance by knocking off Illinois State in the Valley Conference tournament title game in St. Louis, 65-49. The news, a service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples, get $5 off your next print and marketing services purchase when you spend $50 or more. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only ends 3/24. Exclusions apply. Staples. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager defines a conservative.
The left is based on passion. It is not intellectually based. It is not rationally based. We're angry that people got killed, as I am too. I am just as angry as they. Then I ask with my mind, with my faculty of reason, what would work. The second you ask what would work, you are a conservative.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Convenience, confidence, value. Experience all three when you bring your European vehicle to Midwest Performance Cars for maintenance and repair. BMW, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes. We make it convenient for you. Our drop-off procedure has most customers on their way in under 5 minutes, and we feature complimentary Uber or Lyft service to get you where you need to be. With our tablet-based digital inspections, you'll be confident that we only recommend service your car needs. We email or text your vehicle's condition report with pictures and video so you can make an informed decision. And our 3-year, 100,000-mile parts and labor warranty provides unmatched value. We perform outstanding service and we stand behind it. Read our Google reviews and see for yourself. In Chicago at 1385 West Lake Street, book your appointment online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com or call us at 312-432-9492. And coming this summer, we will be opening our second MPC location in Northbrook, Illinois.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, it's heavy from the River Road toll to Nagel with a crash on the right shoulder, then from Division to the Burn Circle. 34 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 15 from Montrose, 12 in the Express. Outbound 12 minutes to Montrose, 37 to the airport. Still heavy on westbound 190, Kennedy to the Tri-State. Eden's inbound stop and go Niles Center to Montrose. 26 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 20, and then outbound travel time on the Kennedy just ticked up to 45 minutes to get to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, 48 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 422. Northbound Veterans Memorial. Stop and go I-55 to Pelton Road after a crash. Traffic is the service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple. You can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mostly cloudy and windy today. Periods of rain into the late afternoon, changing over to snow with a high of 41 and more snow overnight. And accumulations will occur on non-paved surfaces and a low of 30. Currently, we have 33 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
The hypocrites scatter when I shine the bright light of reason. I'm Larry Elder. Join me tonight at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Text from Trump. Excuse me, tweet. But text, that would be something.
Hey,
Trump just texted me.
64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Tweet from Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I can take this bull jive, except he didn't say bull jive. So terrible, #Oscars.
Wow.
That was in 2014.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm
And-
looking at his tweets right now, and that's not what I'm reading.
And let me tell you, 4 years later, it didn't get any better, but we'll get to more of that. I want to focus on other bull jive.
And we have to tell people who won the jet ski, because whoever had the shortest speech won this beautiful jet ski that was in the back. It's like,
Okay.
let's make a deal.
And who
Monty
won
Hall
it?
was out there. I'm going to let you
Oh,
know
you're
later.
teasing.
I'm
Oh,
teasing.
I
with the
see.
tease.
I see. I got you. Industry.
Yes.
All right. So the bull jive I want to focus on was actually coming from the Trump administration in the form of Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross.
Oh.
And
What a hot mess he was over the weekend. Did you watch him on Meet the Press?
and there's nothing hot
Well-
about Wilbur Ross.
Oh, I said a hot mess, because I can't stand when people don't answer the questions. Are the tariffs coming, and when? And is it going to be 25% for steel, 10% aluminum? I mean, he just danced around the subject.
Well, that's what was announced by the president, so
Right.
there's not a lot of controversy there, I don't think. Wilbur Ross saying this about those tariffs shouldn't be a surprise.
Well, first of all, it wasn't sudden. The president, ever since the campaign, has said he's going to do something to fix steel and aluminum. Almost a year ago, he commissioned the Commerce Department to do the studies on steel and aluminum. They've been through any number of interagency reviews before they were released to the public. So with the whole year of preparation, I don't know why anybody should have been so shocked.
I'm not saying I'm shocked, but it doesn't make a bad policy telegraphed any better when it's consummated. Trump tweeting.
Yeah, tweeting. When do we talk about tariffs via Twitter? Okay, I guess it's our new reality.
So steel and aluminum, we'll see a lot of good things happen. We're going to have new jobs popping up. We're going to have much more vibrant companies. And then the rest is going to be up to management to make them truly great. If you could ever make U.S. Steel like it used to be, we'd be very happy. And I think it's actually possible, but you have a long way to go. Also tweeting this, which was remarked upon a lot over the weekend. When a country is losing many billions of dollars on trade with virtually every country it does business with, trade wars are good and easy to win. Example, when we're down $100 billion with a certain country and they get cute, don't trade it anymore. We win big. It's easy. We must protect our country and our workers. Our steel industry is in bad shape. If you don't have steel, you don't have a country. And so on, and so on, and so on. All of what I just read,
Yeah.
it's total nonsense. Total, utter nonsense. And what you were hearing from Wilbur Ross over the weekend, also nonsense. He was asked about, why now, the timing of this,
Right.
and, why not continue negotiations with the targets, most notably China. He responded to Chuck Todd thusly.
Well, we've certainly had discussions with China. Their big advisor to Mr. Xi was in Washington that very same day. We had Mar-a-Lago session with China. We had another session in November back in Beijing. There's been plenty of discussion.
And Trump even went, to slap tariffs on our allies. And he said if the EU raises tariffs, then he's going to slap a hefty tax on European cars, which a lot of European cars are made in America. So,
Yeah, the whole trade war trade wars are good and easy to win, and his whole rap on trade treats trade as a zero-sum game rather than a mutually beneficial exchange, which is why he's got the policy wrong. The Wall Street Journal opining over the weekend. Trade consists of millions of acts of buying and selling by individuals and companies that are presumably for mutual benefit. Otherwise, why would they do it? No one forces anyone to buy or sell across borders. The entire point of trading goods or services is that someone wants to buy the car or pay for the engineering design. pretty straightforward. Wilbur Ross tried to provide explanations and comparisons to the costs that are going to be imposed when he made a turn to Fox Business and was on with Stuart Varney. Asked about Exxon. Exxon saying the Keystone Pipeline, $300 million more will be the cost as a result of these tariffs if they're instituted and continued. To which Wilbur Ross responded with a can of Campbell's soup.
So one of the criticisms was that these tariffs would raise the cost to American consumers. It would raise the cost of steel in the United States. And we had Exxon this morning saying that it would add $300 million extra to the cost of building the Keystone Pipeline. $300 million extra because of the tariffs that you proposed. What's your answer?
Well, my answer is several things. First of all, let's put it in perspective. I just bought a can of Campbell's soup today at the 7-Eleven. It was $1.99 for the can. There's about 3 cents worth of tin plate steel in this can. So if it goes up 25%, that's a tiny fraction of 1 penny. That's not a noticeable thing.
Wilbur Ross, every morning Wilbur Ross goes to the 7-Eleven. He buys a can of Campbell's soup.
Day-old sushi.
And a 40-ounce malt liquor.
Yeah.
And that's how he starts his day. And that's the key to longevity. He's 80 years old.
Well, I kept hearing over the week, it's only, maybe 10 cents more a can of soup or a can of corn. But I grocery shop, not once, but twice a week. That's going to cut into our budget that we have set out for food. Honestly, and then don't even mention beer.
How about a bigger item, like the impact on car prices?
Anytime you get rid of dumped product, there will be a price increase. The question is, what does it amount to? Take a car. There's about 1 ton of steel in a car. And if that goes up 25% from a $700-odd base, that's under a couple of $100. That's around 0.5% of the price of a car. It's no big deal. So people are exaggerating it considerably, but you've got to look at the job creation and the impact on American employees. American employees have borne the brunt of all the imported steel and aluminum that's been coming in.
Okay.
So corporate America may complain. The president is taking up the banner of Mr. and Mrs. America.
You agree with Wilbur Ross, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'm not surprised. It was something Trump has carried on about since he was a candidate, even before, but certainly as a candidate. So you could argue this is a promise made and a promise kept. But is it a bad promise? Well, the result is, or the history is that yes, it is.
Yeah, didn't President Bush try this for 21 months? He had tariffs on steel and aluminum.
Correct, and it cost 200,000 American jobs. And when Reagan did it in the 80s, the results were similarly deleterious to both consumers and to employment. The cost to save each steel job that Reagan saved with his import quotas on Japanese cars, for example, north of $2 million. Oh, by the way, with respect to the steel and aluminum industry, there are 60 times more employees in steel using businesses than in steel making businesses. So that's who's going to get hammered, just as those concerns have gotten hammered in the market over the last couple of days of last week to the benefit of U.S. Steel, who saw a $500 million increase in their market cap when these tariffs were announced. But there's also something just kind of fundamental about this that we need to make sure people get. The rhetoric is this favorable balance of trade, like trade deficits matter, they don't. It's the favorable balance of trade, we export more than we import. But from the point of view of economic well-being and our standard of living, that's actually an unfavorable balance. This is Peter Navarro, among others, who make this argument. We're sending out more goods and getting fewer in return. Each of you in your private household would know better than that. You don't regard it as a favorable balance when you have to send out more goods to get less coming in. It's favorable when you can get more by sending out fewer. Quod error demonstratum, if you take it down to the household level. Scott in Hanover Park.
Good morning, Amy, Dan. I remember back towards the election and this pipeline getting passed, and didn't we hear that this was supposed to be built with American steel?
Well, that was, I think, one of Trump's arguments, and now he's essentially wiring the deal, so it is, but it's going to be at a premium because of the tariffs.
But wait a minute, what tariff? It's already here. It's American steel, made, created, forged here in the USA, and they should be able to get it at discount. And Exxon's known about this for years, so why haven't they bought up stock?
Oh,
just something seems odd now that there's a tariff.
Why would you discount prices if you're insulated from competition? Number one. Number two, Exxon didn't know about this for years because they didn't get the high sign on the Keystone Pipeline under the previous president, did they?
Right, but they've had a year.
Okay.
To buy steel to start getting ready.
So I'm sorry. So what's the problem here? Is the problems with Exxon or the problems with the policy?
The problem is with, I think they're trying to use a tariff as a reason to complain unnecessarily, where if you had done the right thing up front, you wouldn't be in that position of, I may have to pay another $300 million for steel.
Is the tariff a good policy or not?
I think there's pros and cons to it.
What's the pro?
I think we need to. The pro is when we're not getting enough in return for what does leave this country. And I do agree with that point you made a moment ago.
Okay, thanks for the call, Scott. Appreciate it. Tom in Deer Park.
Trump campaigned on this, so it should hardly be a surprise. That's on us, the electorate.
Not a surprise.
But my comment is that this was run through, as Ross said, the Department of Commerce and all the other departments of the administration, their teams of economists and PhDs and lawyers. And if you've been paying attention long enough, Dan, you espouse it all the time. Department of Labor, USDA, pretty much all a hoax. They put whatever they want and whatever the administration thinks they want, and we're all supposed to buy it. That's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Steve in Naperville.
There's some complexity to this as well, which is that when you talk about the multiple choices that people make to engage in commerce, there are consequences that are unintended. And this is, I think Trump is intending to try to help the American worker who has been hurt because the multiple choices have benefited the consumer and the owner, but the worker has been hurt.
Is a worker also a consumer?
Yes, that's the complexity. You have a balance of number of producing workers and consuming workers. And there's some complexity to that about the balance.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Steve. There's not that much complexity to it. Not when the choices are binary. The choice is you have a mercantilist system where the government protects industries to the detriment of those industries, in addition to consumers, in addition to general employment in other industries. Or you have a more preemptively free trade approach, which is one of the bases on which America became the wealthiest nation the world has ever seen. I would encourage people, if they haven't, because this was in direct response to policies like this about 240 years ago. Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, his whole tract was in response to the folly of mercantilism. And central to mercantilist policy is tariffs. It's bad public policy. It's bad economic policy. It's bad for workers. It's bad for consumers. It's bad for America.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Toyota doubling down on its autonomous car research investment, and McDonald's unhappy meals. Legos go green. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. If you like freedom and money, then you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right, $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.myfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
Toyota to invest almost $3 billion in a new venture to develop software for self-driving vehicles. Legacy automakers responding to challenges from companies like Alphabet's Waymo and, of course, Tesla. McDonald's latest effort to boost sales has fallen flat with Wall Street. McDonald's shares hit new lows for the year on word its newly revived dollar menu has failed to bring back customers. How about Legos made from plant-based plastics? The 85-year-old Danish toy maker will introduce bushes, trees, and leaves made from sugarcane-based plastics later this year. Lego's plant plastics will account for less than 2% of the company's total output of plastic. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Guns have no moral agency. Predators hurt and kill people. Often they use a gun. Good guys protect people. Often they use a gun. When a predator kills with a gun, he is rightly called a monster. When a good guy with a gun fails to protect people, he's rightly called a coward. The very nature of the way we discuss an atrocity like the Parkland school shooting conveys our understanding that it's bad guys and good guys who are responsible for what they do and not the instrumentality they use in their conduct. So arguing that the response to the deadly success of the shooter and the failure of the deputy sheriff is to reduce the number of good guys and their instrumentality choices does not logically follow from the accepted premise. And neither does the failure of state agencies locally and federally to exercise the power they currently possess make the case for expanding their power at the expense of our rights. No amount of emergency planning or algorithmic modeling or government power can replace the variety of human judgment calls that will be thrust upon a free people. The question then isn't what's in my holster, it's what's in my head and my heart.
If you're a small business, first impressions can make all the difference. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a professional business phone system on your mobile phone. Choose a business phone number, make calls and send texts, making it easy for you and your customers to stay connected. Even get voicemails transcribed. Set up your account in minutes with no long-term contracts and 24/7 customer support. Make your small business big. Now get $20 off your plan when you visit grasshopper.com/radio. That's grasshopper.com/radio.
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had this crazy thing happen with my eyesight. I went back to get my contact lenses done, and my optometrist, and I'm 46, he said, "This is really weird, but your eyesight is better." I'm like, I can't believe it, but I think it's these vitamins I'm taking.
I'm a huge believer in the product. I've tried lots of stuff, and this is the only real thing that I've ever, because of all these comparisons with all the other stuff I've had, this is by far the best thing, and consistently.
We're so healthy now on the Balance of Nature. There's no words to say how well it works.
Doing good on it, really. I'm feeling my skin is softer, and I feel good.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Our friend over at the Chicago Tribune, John Cass, weighs in on gubernatorial politics with just over 2 weeks to go before primary election day at 7:07.
And he hasn't conceded the race yet, but now Roy Moore wants and needs your help. We'll tell you why. Let's first, though, go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a winter storm expected to hit Chicago. Some spots could see 2 to 3 inches of snow by the time we head into tomorrow. 3 teens are shot on the west side. That investigation continues. CPD is expanding their predictive policing technology. Loyola stops Illinois State to win the NVC tournament championship and punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Cloudy, windy, periods of rain turning to snow today. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
President Trump's tweeting about trade. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. He's once again claiming his predecessor's trade deals are bad for America. Live in Washington, here's Fox's Rachel Sutherland.
Chris, President Trump has a message for Mexico and Canada. Renegotiate NAFTA or tariffs are here to stay. The president tweeted the trade deal's been bad for the U.S. and that tariffs on steel and aluminum will only come off if a new and fair NAFTA agreement is signed. White House National Trade Council Director Peter Navarro told Fox and Friends,
if we get a great NAFTA agreement, and Ambassador Lighthizer is trying to do that, that would be a great thing for the American people.
The president also tweeted Canada must treat our farmers better, and Mexico must do more to stop the flow of drugs into the U.S. Chris.
And Rachel, there's another one. The president just tweeted, to protect our country, we must protect American steel. Hashtag America First. At the Academy Awards, host Jimmy Kimmel remembers this past year.
As the year men screwed up so badly, women started dating fish.
He's talking about The Shape of Water, the winner of 4 awards, including Best Picture and Director, during the ceremony on ABC last night. The Best Acting Awards go to Frances McDormand and Gary Oldman. Best Supporting to Sam Rockwell and Allison Janney. Anti-establishment parties are the winners in Italy's elections, with nobody winning enough, though, to take charge outright.
The populist Five Star Movement, founded a decade ago by a comic, now led by Luigi Di Maio, a 31-year-old former web designer, won over 30% of the votes. But that is not enough to govern on its own. The other winner, the far-right anti-immigrant Eurosceptic League Party of Matteo Salvini, won the most in the center-right coalition, outstripping the Forza Italia party of 81-year-old Silvio Berlusconi. Now the horse trading begins to form a government. In Rome, Courtney Walsh, Fox News.
Turkish state media is reporting that police have detained 4 Islamic State suspects, possibly planning an attack on the American embassy in Ankara. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sean Hannity wants to see energy independence.
I have, and if you've listened any length of time on this program, I have been pushing and pushing energy independence. Now, because of the president's energy policies, America today is on the verge of achieving global energy dominance. That's going to go a long way to keeping Americans safe and prosperous for decades and decades to come.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
32 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland today. The National Weather Service says snow is likely to begin falling this afternoon around 4 p.m., lasting until midnight or later. 2 to 4 inches possible in spots. An investigation is underway after 3 underage teens were shot on Chicago's west side. A 13-year-old girl, a 13-year-old boy, and a 14-year-old girl have all been admitted to Stroger Hospital. A 19-year-old Central Michigan University student is charged with open murder and felony firearms for the shooting deaths of his parents on Friday when they arrived on campus to take him home for spring break. James Davis Jr. was found Saturday after a long manhunt in and around the town of Mount Pleasant.
Never envisioned it could happen at Central Michigan University. We are a safe community. We are a safe campus. But we demonstrated the ability to deal with the inconceivable.
CMU Police Chief Bill Yeagley says James Davis Jr. got his father's service weapon from his parents' vehicle Friday morning while the parents were in his dorm room at Campbell Hall packing him up for spring break. Davis Sr. was a police officer in Bellwood and an Illinois National Guard vet who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. The younger Davis attended Plainfield High Schools. Chicago police are expanding the use of modern efforts to combat crime in the city. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson announcing yesterday the department has added predictive policing technology to the Near West Side district. The man in charge of buying things for the state of Illinois will now be in charge of fixing the health crisis at the Quincy Veterans Home. Governor Bruce Rauner announcing that Michael Hoffman will oversee the state's response to the deadly Legionnaire's disease outbreak at the home. College hoops, Big Ten tournament wrapping up with Michigan topping Purdue. Loyola punching its ticket to the big dance, knocking off Illinois State 65-49.
We've talked all year about doing things better than we've ever done before, and the fact that it's been that long, coaches made a conscious effort to bring in winners and to bring in guys that he thought could turn this program around with the culture that he provides us.
Loyola Chicago guard Clayton Custer after the win. The Ramblers make their first appearance in the tournament since 1985. The news, a service of Staples. At Staples, you can upgrade your office and still save money. And this week at Staples, you can save big on a full range of office and desk chairs, some up to 50% off. A better chair equals a better workday, and 310 Staples. It's pro time. 7:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you're a small business, first impressions can make all the difference. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a professional business phone system on your mobile phone. Choose a business phone number, make calls and send texts, making it easy for you and your customers to stay connected. Even get voicemails transcribed. Set up your account in minutes with no long-term contracts and 24/7 customer support. Make your small business big. Now get $20 off your plan when you visit grasshopper.com/radio. That's grasshopper.com/radio.
You're up before dark 30. You don't ask for medals or even a pat on the back. But if all your hard work is indeed its own reward, then consider the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition as a bonus. Natura Plus leather seating, premium projector headlamps, suede headliner, packaged in the highly capable, hard-working truck you'd expect from Ram. Keep doing what you do, but who says you can't do it in a nicer truck? The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Career politicians put jobs in Mexico ahead of jobs in Muncie, jobs in Beijing ahead of Bloomington. And when our jobs disappeared, the insiders sat on their hands and did nothing. Businessman and outsider Mike Braun is running for U.S. Senate to bring Indiana jobs back. Family man, businessman, Christian, Mike Braun created hundreds of jobs here in Indiana. As senator, Mike Braun will help pass President Trump's agenda. Braun will repeal Obamacare once and for all, defund dangerous sanctuary cities, and finally build the wall. And Mike Braun will protect the right to life and stand up for our values. No more career politicians. Businessman, outsider, conservative. We need Mike Braun in the United States Senate. He puts Indiana and America first.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
You work hard to recruit the best talent for your business, so you know today's candidates want perks they can enjoy every day. Give them the healthy, active office culture they're looking for with Veridesk Standing Desk Solutions. The new Veridesk ProDesk 60 Electric is a commercial-grade electric standing desk that lets you sit or stand with the touch of a button, and it assembles in under 5 minutes. To learn more about the ProDesk 60 Electric, visit veridesk.com/radio. That's VARIdesk.com/radio.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Diana's hired with Indeed.
It just gives me so many more qualified applicants to choose from.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
7:08 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Metro reports delays on the Milwaukee North line due to a mechanical problem. Heritage Quarter line, freight train having mechanical issues in the area. Edens runs 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 21 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound 15 minutes to Montrose and 46 to the airport. About Eisenhower delays kicking at Manheim, 49 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 33. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 from the Tri-State. Outbound 35 minutes to 355. The Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 425. Northbound Tri-State heavy approaching the Hinsdale Oasis, and stop and go from the Reaganville to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial slow, I-55 to Boughton after a crash. The other tollways are good. Northwest Indiana, fine as well. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Winter weather advisory in effect from 6 p.m. this evening until midnight tonight. Mostly cloudy and windy today, periods of late afternoon rain, high 42, periods of evening snow, an inch or two, otherwise mostly cloudy, roads could be slippery, low tonight 30. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
33 at O'Hare, next news at 7:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And some people are growing weary of Rauner's lies in this campaign. The primary challenge he's facing against Jeannie Ives, who, again, I'm supporting. People don't know that by now. They haven't been paying attention.
They've
but
been
I feel
living under a rock.
Well, I just feel the need to disclose it. So
talking about the Oscars.
Can't cry about it.
But is it an Oscar-winning performance by Governor Rauner?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
John Cass over the weekend straightening out some election year politics with just over 2 weeks to go before the primary election.
Wait, let me guess. Rauner's grandparents are really from Iowa and not Wisconsin?
No, that's not the issue he tackled, although, gosh only knows if he's going to lie about his grandparents emigrating from Sweden rather than Wisconsin. I mean, who knows?
And trips that he took with his grandpa back to the homeland, and just complete lie to my face twice.
Yeah, well, you got to have...
Completely lied, excuse me.
Yeah, these politicians and political hacks and empty vessels like Rauner need the Horatio Alger story.
Well, he's trying to get the Swedish vote. Do you see what he did there?
It's huge.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. Maybe you can put that water tower back up that you missed so much.
We put it back up.
Oh.
Come on.
Maybe you can put a fresh coat of paint on it.
Maybe we can put water in the water tower.
John Cass asked the question in his column over the weekend, is Republican State Rep Jeannie Ives really a creature of Democrat boss Mike Madigan? Governor Bruce Rauner says so in his commercial, so it must be true, right? You've heard him. You've heard him on these airwaves. You've seen him everywhere.
Are they having an affair yet? Have they come out? Did they go to prom together? I mean, what do you have for me, Dan?
You've got multiple mailers. I mean, Rauner spent about, $4 million over the last couple of weeks alone pounding the airwaves and your mailboxes with this narrative. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are passively engaged and ill-informed and aren't taking the time to learn the truth.
Somebody even asked me, too, are those ads true about Jeannie Ives and Mike Madigan? I said, they're completely made up. And the person who created them or one of the people behind it even joked around about it. So, people are starting to realize that it's a joke.
I think they are, and thankfully there's a couple of voices in the press that are exposing the falsehoods that Rauner is telling. Greg Hines, even, is a man of the left. And then over the weekend, Cass and also Terry Martin from Illinois Channel. Here's John Cass's response to the question he posed regarding those commercials that you hear on these airwaves and elsewhere. So it's true, right, what Rauner's saying? No, writes Cass. A friend in Washington saw the Rauner ad against Ives and texted me, so she's a Madigan candidate? Such a joke. No, I told him, absolutely not. But when you have millions and millions to spend like Rauner, you can say almost anything if you pay for it and if the media don't call you out on it. Ooh, that last part important. And if the media don't call you out on it. Ives, the conservative Republican from Wheaton, who is challenging Rauner in the Republican primary for governor, is no Madigan toady or ally or minion. The governor twisted her words from a debate the two had before the Chicago Tribune editorial board. I was there. She crushed him in that one. Yet now Rauner is using the commercial to make it seem as if she were defending Madigan. It was Rauner who used Madigan as a shield in that Tribune debate, constantly bringing up Madigan almost every time he was asked a question he didn't like. And Ives mocked him for it, saying, there he goes again, attacking Madigan again, and so on. Rauner took her mockery and twisted it. They were her words, but he twisted them, and I don't see him being called out on it. Certainly not by the Tribune editorial board, all those leftists on the Tribune editorial board that are so interested in good government, right? Yeah. And they endorse the same government and take ownership by their endorsement of all of these lies Rauner is telling that John Cass is detailing. They were there too. So they're liars as well. They're suborning a fraud on the public. The reason, Cass writes, she's in the race is simple. Rauner broke faith with his own Republican Party. Illinois politicians for generations have operated with the belief that Illinois voters are stupid people who believe anything they're told. It's the reason why Boss Madigan, Speaker of the Illinois House and Chairman of the Illinois Democrat Party, has been running things for decades. So are you going to live down to Rauner's expectations of you as detailed by John Cass and be a mope, be stupid?
Well, he's, threatening our intelligence by that ad, really, because he thinks that we're that stupid that we would believe that.
Terry Martin from the Illinois Channel. Facebook post over the weekend. This is not an endorsement of a candidate, but an endorsement of the truth. Folks, I don't care who you vote for in the race for governor. That's your business. But I do care about the truth. Mm-hmm. To those flyers that are going out, the TV ads going out that say Jeannie Ives is Madigan's favorite representative or suggest she's against lowering property taxes. Well, that is the biggest distortion I've heard about Illinois politics in the last 20 years that I've covered Illinois politics. And everyone who follows Illinois politics or works in the Capitol knows that's just plainly ridiculous. Ives is a rock-solid conservative on fiscal matters. She's solid on gutting corruption out of Illinois politics and was greatly outspoken in support of getting rid of the former president of College of DuPage. I've interviewed her many times on attacking corruption, on cutting taxes, on her wanting to fix the broken property tax assessment system so property taxes can be lowered. So the truth is, if you want taxpayer funding of abortion, then vote for Governor Rauner, not Jeannie Ives. If you want to be a sanctuary state, then don't vote for Jeannie Ives. But if you're a Republican voter who doesn't know about her and is worried that she's in cahoots with Mike Madigan, that she's his favorite representative, that she's against lowering taxes, well, I can tell you those are the biggest lies since Rod Blagojevich told us he was for good government and he would always do what's right. I just want you to know the facts when you go into the voting booth so that your vote isn't stolen by having you believe things another campaign lied to you about. As a reporter, my job is to report the facts. I just did. Any questions? Maybe you have some questions for the bought and paid for Rauner Republican Party apparatchiks, but there's no questions about the truth in this case. Zero. And a cursory glance of the record will support the contentions of both Mr. Cass and Mr. Martin. That's the facts. So what are you going to do about it? Ives also launching her own campaign commercial, somewhat in response to this. And you'll hear on these airwaves, too, in audio form. Here's the video version, the TV version that's up today.
Bruce Rauner lies so much, he reminds us of another Chicago politician.
If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period.
Republicans are sick of Rauner's lies, and they are demanding Rauner stop his shameful distortions and fabrications of Jeannie Ives' record. Jeannie Ives won't tolerate lies and has lived by the cadet code. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. Paid for by Eyes for Illinois Governor.
And on screen, when the VO that you just heard, I will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate others who do the cadet code. On screen, the message comes, and neither should you.
Ah.
So what are you going to do, Republican primary voters? Are you going to tolerate lying, cheating, and stealing, and others who do? Or are you going to vote for them?
I'm just worried because I know some Republicans are going to pull Democratic primary ballots.
Yeah, well,
to
that's
get people out, like, to vote for Bob Fioretti
against Preckwinkle.
Preckwinkle and Chris Kennedy, and it's bothersome.
Okay.
Because we need Republicans to pull a Republican primary ballot.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that would help.
Preferable focus on nominating the best representatives of your party. It's good advice. Mark in Plainfield.
Happy Casimir Pulaski Day.
Oh, yes.
Dan and Amy.
Yes, absolutely.
It wouldn't matter to me if Jeannie Ives was Putin's favorite Republican. After 3-4 years around her, I'd say, it's time to call Rauner a rhino again. It's time to call Rauner a rhino again.
Mark, thanks for the call, and don't give Rauner any ideas. That'll be the next spot. Putin's favorite Republican. Steve in Hinsdale.
Yeah, good morning. 2 comments real quickly. Could we refer to Preckwinkle as Bullwinkle, please? That would be a lot more accurate. And the other thing about these lies are I like white lies. It's just like Trump uses white lies. I think these are white lies.
Well,
my wife used a white lie with me last night.
Uh-huh.
I asked her if she wanted to be romantic.
She said she had a headache.
She said she had a headache.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
So,
you, Henny
I have
Youngman.
a lot of white lies.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. Greg in Rogers
Never
Park.
heard that joke before.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Greg.
Three things Jeannie Ives who I am voting for, and I'm like one of the rare in Rogers Park. First of all, her speech at the City Club, her position by Madigan. Second, the full of the review board of the Tribune, and then Chris Cleveland, the chairman of the Chicago Republican Party, as governor. You don't know pamphlet supported by Tom Morrison. Explains Governor Rauner very clearly what he is. So there's some to help out. But Jeannie Ives could make governor.
All right. Thanks for the call, Greg. Appreciate that. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Oh, hi, Sean.
Why don't they just ask Madigan? These crack deep dish reporters. These girls who
Because
can't
they
resist
can't
a buffet.
find him, Sean.
Just
He
ask
doesn't have a
Madigan.
cell phone. Do you understand? The man doesn't have a cell phone.
He's doing interviews now. He's got to answer all the sexual harassment protecting his pals, those lobbyists.
His attorney is.
So now's the time to ask him and expose the real straw man. See, the real scam is that Rauner has always been and will always be loyal to the corruption of the Chicago Democrat. That's what it is. He's interwoven. Just look at Rauner's history. So instead of asking Jeannie Ives, they silently promote this fraud. Just ask Madigan and Jeannie Ives. Let's ask them, where is the connection? And the same thing's being done in these other races. When Durkin. It's the same pattern. I don't understand why they're not asking. And another thing I want to say, Amy.
Okay.
You're up there. Have you ever seen Biss and Diane Rauner in the same room?
No.
Have you ever noticed that? Because I'm convinced that Diane was at a urinal next to me at Taco Bell in Downers Grove. I think it's Biss.
Thank you for
you.
that contribution, Sean. Yeah, the issue of that's what the Illinois Republican Party is. That's why it's a sham and it's a joke. How does the Republican Party in this state define itself? In the negative. We're not Mike Madigan, and so if you're against the establishment of this Republican Party, which is the actual the actual individuals that have been complicit with the other side, that have played junior partner to the Chicago Democrats for the entire century, then you're with Mike Madigan because that's all they got. They don't have substantive arguments. They have boogeyman politics. But it's so interesting to me, how defining yourself in the negative. Think about this. So when somebody asks you, what do you say, I'm not a drug dealer? Because that's how the Republican Party defines itself. Who are you? I'm not Mike Madigan.
Okay.
Right. Well, It's just so bizarre, but it's because it's indifference to winning elections, except their own. It's indifference to moving on a policy agenda. It's just their sinecure. Rauner wants the sinecure for the epitaph, and people like Durkin and Brady. I mean, part of it is social status, but really it's about leveraging their political office for financial gain. Rauner doesn't need to do that. That's just about epitaph, being somebody, filling that hole in the middle of his chest. For the others, it's leveraging the office. But okay, let's keep going the same way. 20 years, we say 40 years for Madigan is is enough of a probationary period. How about 20 years for Brady and 20 years for Durkin on the Republican side? How's that been going the last 2 decades? Robust Illinois Republican Party that you're proud of, proud to associate with, impressed with what they've been able to accomplish, electorally or policy-wise? So are you going to be like the Tribune editorial board? I'm going to preach good government. I'm going to preach conservative reform, and I'm going to support and endorse the same. March 20.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Bruce Rauner lies so much, he reminds us of another Chicago politician.
If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor. Period.
No wonder Republicans are abandoning you.
The Republican floor leader in the Illinois House is now leading a revolt of social conservatives against the party's governor.
Jeannie Ives won't tolerate lies and has lived by the cadet code. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. And neither should you. Paid for by Eyes for Illinois Governor. Only one candidate for governor consistently fights for Illinois taxpayers.
Our economy is too weak for a tax hike, and you know it. You know we need jobs, you complain about it all the time, and you won't fix our job creation problems.
That's why the tax watchdog group Tax Accountability endorsed Jeannie Ives over Bruce Rauner and made her the first state representative to earn a perfect score from the group. Jeannie Ives, the consistent conservative for Illinois governor. Paid for by Eyes for Illinois Governor.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and I know you've always wondered how much deer semen it takes to win a state house race in Texas. So I think I've got the answer.
Oh, thank you, I think.
A candidate in the race for a South Texas State House seat has reportedly received $87,500 in campaign donations, more than half of which is made up of deer semen.
Okay. This is an actual thing?
Yeah. $51,000 in in-kind donations to her campaign, frozen deer semen straws. They're reportedly a common way for deer breeders in the state to donate to political campaigns. Each straw is valued at $1,000.
Wow.
Fred Gonzalez, who serves as the treasurer of the Texas Deer Association, told the Dallas News that the group's PAC has received more than $975,000 in deer semen donations since 2006. That's a lot of deer semen. And has given away more than $885,000 during the same period. It's a very common way for us to donate, Gonzalez told the paper. And the candidates are more than happy to accept deer semen. I mean, what politicians won't do for money.
Turn around and sell it and then take the cash?
Well, no, they use it to fund their campaigns because it's an in-kind donation for their campaigns.
Okay.
Deer semen.
You can buy it on.
That's
you can buy it on Amazon. I'm looking right now.
That's campaign finance reform.
Nothing says I want you to win like a vial of that.
That's correct. Yeah, that shows a real commitment to the campaign. Yeah, this is it's something maybe even volunteers pass out instead of walk cards.
Okay, gross.
We're just a couple weeks away from Beyond the Talking Points when I'll sit down across from Donna Brazile and explain to her why just about every position she holds is wrong. It's happening on Thursday, March 22nd at the Meadows Club in Rolling Meadows. Donna and I will be debating all the big issues, immigration, gun control, tax reform. And you'll have a chance to pose questions to us as well. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond. But right now, Amy, we have a pair of tickets to give away. It's a caller number
10
to 312-733-6993. Caller number 10, 312-733-6993. 312-733-6993 to win a pair of tickets to see me take on Donna Brazile March 22nd. And thank you to our sponsors, AM Woodland Outdoor Design, 1-800-4BLIND, Chicago, the Judson World Leaders Forum, and the Heartland Institute.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, have you heard there was a gun show in DuPage County, but they weren't selling certain items. We'll begin there with Bob Garza, who joins us at 7:37. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
31 degrees, cloudy skies, and a winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland today, beginning at about 4 p.m. A school safety package drafted by Republican leaders in the Florida legislature after the massacre at Stoneman Douglas High is up for a final vote in that state Senate today. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is due to visit the White House today. He'll talk with President Trump about the president going to the new U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem when it opens up in May. Trade deficits, death, and addiction are on President Trump's mind this morning as Trump took to Twitter to call the North American Free Trade Agreement with Mexico and Canada a bad deal. He said his proposed steep tariffs on steel and aluminum will only end if a fair NAFTA agreement is signed. The Shape of Water Best Picture in the 90th Academy Awards.
Growing up in Mexico, I thought this could never happen. It happens. And I want to tell you, everyone that is dreaming of a parable, of using genre fantasy to tell the stories about the things that are real in the world today, you can do it.
Guillermo del Toro won Best Director for his love story. Frances McDormand won her second Best Actress Oscar for Three Billboards. The Best Actor award went to Gary Oldman for his portrayal of Winston Churchill in The Darkest Hour. An investigation continues after 3 underage teens were shot on Chicago's west side. All are in good condition, stable condition at Stroger Hospital. Driver faces multiple citations following a deadly CTA bus crash over the weekend on Chicago's south side. And one person is hurt following a house fire over the weekend in Oswego that cost $450,000 in damage. City of Chicago will celebrate Casimir Pulaski Day today. The holiday observed to remember Pulaski, the Polish hero of the American Revolution. Ducks beat the Blackhawks 6-3 in Anaheim. College buckets, Michigan tops Purdue in the Big Ten tournament title game. Loyola punching its ticket to the big dance with a win in the Valley Conference Tournament Championship game over Illinois State. The news service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures now at Staples. Get $5 off your next print and marketing service purchase when you spend $50 or more. Stand out. Materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only ends $324. Exclusions apply at Staples. 7:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
14 cops have been shot and killed since the beginning of the year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
People in America are finding it way too easy to take shots at cops. And I don't believe it will stop until the silent majority of Americans wakes up and goes out and shows their support for our police officers.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
If we don't, nobody will.
Progressive Insurance, with the Name Your Price tool, offering a range of coverage and price options to choose from. Now that's Progressive. More at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
As you approach retirement, it's important to determine the amount of income you can receive from Social Security. Depending on when and how distributions are taken, you may be able to optimize the benefits you're eligible to receive, particularly among married couples. Call Jack Taboda today to get a copy of his informational booklet, The Social Security Decisions. This informational booklet presents the facts about Social Security distribution options to help you determine when and how to begin taking distributions so you may receive more income over the course of your retirement. To receive your Social Security Decisions informational booklet, call Jack at 630-777-7955 or visit Taboda.com. That's TEBODA.com. Get the most out of your Social Security benefits. Call today, 630-777-7955.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Taboda & Associates are not affiliated companies. Taboda & Associates is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Washington is full of career politicians. It's time we put everyday Americans back in charge of your government. I'm Dr. Suppan Shah. My parents immigrated here with nothing in their pockets. They worked tirelessly to give me the American dream. Now, as a physician and successful entrepreneur, I'm running for Congress to bring real-world experience to Washington. I will heal our broken healthcare system, bring jobs back to the 10th District, and then term limit myself and get out of the way for the next citizen legislator. I knew it would be difficult taking on the entrenched politicians. The insiders have come after me with everything they've got, even lying to scare you from voting for the only outsider and the only candidate born right here in the 10th District. Here's the choice you have: more of the same or a new path. You can vote for politics as usual or for common sense and real-world experience. Republicans, the choice is yours. I'm Dr. Suppan Shah. I approve this message and I humbly ask for your vote so I can bring common sense back to Washington. Learn more at drshawforcongress.com.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These drugs are commonly prescribed for depression treatment. 2018 can be the year you win the war on depression.
New year, new you.
Drugs for depression can be dangerous, have side effects, and really just mask the problem. TMS therapy treats the source of your depression. Cure or remission is here. HBR centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee. Millions have been treated, and the results are outstanding.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive.
How does it work? TMS TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate mood centers, causing long-term medication-free relief. It's FDA cleared and covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. Make the call. Ask questions. Bring an end to your depression. HPR Centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Career politicians put jobs in Mexico ahead of jobs in Muncie, jobs in Beijing ahead of Bloomington. And when our jobs disappeared, the insiders sat on their hands and did nothing. Businessman and outsider Mike Braun is running for U.S. Senate to bring Indiana jobs back. Family man, businessman, Christian, Mike Braun created hundreds of jobs here in Indiana. As Senator, Mike Braun will help pass President Trump's agenda. Braun will repeal Obamacare once and for all, defund dangerous sanctuary cities, and finally build the wall. And Mike Braun will protect the right to life and stand up for our values. No more career politicians. Businessman, outsider, conservative. We need Mike Braun in the United States Senate. He puts Indiana and America first.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
7:39. Let's get an update on the roads in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound. It's now heavy from Sayre to the Burn Circle, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 23 in the Express. Outbound 40 minutes to the airport. Venans, 21 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, 59-minute drive, 390 to downtown. Outbound 35. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop 4, 23 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Northbound Tri-States, the LaGrange Road to 31st, and the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial delays from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways look good, Northwest Indiana as well. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, windy, periods of rain turning to snow this afternoon and a high of 41. Currently 33. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Gin Blossoms. Boy, I haven't heard them in a while. There was a gun show in Wheaton over the weekend at which there were protests and counter-protests, Amy.
Yeah, because at the gun show, they decided not to sell AR-15s out of respect for the victims in Florida and in Las Vegas, and they did not sell bump stocks, but some thought that they shouldn't be there in the first place. So there were about 25 protesters, and I am not kidding you. CBS News this morning, because it made national news, said that some of the protesters were actual NRA members who didn't support the sale of bump stocks. Now, I have friends that were there that were protesting the protesters who are Second Amendment gun advocates, and they said that's not true.
By the way, there's votes again this week on gun legislation, gun control legislation in Springfield. And there's also alerts that have been sent out by the NRA and the Illinois State Rifle Association regarding this gun licensing bill that's going to the governor's desk and what he's going to do about it. This would create open-ended regulations of federally licensed gun dealers in Illinois. Could include things like a gun registry in the state with this administrative oversight body that the legislation would create. And Governor Rauner is likely to sit on this
through the primary?
Yeah, and then sign it right after the primary. So our gun owner is going to be snookered by Rauner. That's about the last group he has to betray to complete the cycle in his last 3 years. More on the protest and these related topics. We're pleased to be joined by Bob Garza, who is a member of Illinois Gun Owners Together and was out at the gun show over the weekend. Bob, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on your show.
So, since you can offer a first-person account, why don't you separate the facts from the reporting on what happened over the weekend in Wheaton for us?
Well, it's very interesting. I've seen some of the reporting that was done on the Washington Post. I was interviewed by CBS. One of our individuals was interviewed by Univision. I've seen that online. I just find it real interesting, the disconnect between what actually happened out there and how things were reported.
So what happened?
All right, so what happened?
Well, for one thing, if you looked at the Washington Post article, they show close-up pictures of the protesters, those who did not want to support our Second Amendment rights. They show close-ups of their posters. Those posters showed inaccurate and false statistics and claims. However, the pictures they showed of people on our side of the argument, if you will, are from a distance. It's very difficult to read some of the signs. The signs we did have that were in very large, bold print could have been read easily by someone who was across the street, 10 car lengths away. None of those made it into their pictures.
Okay. Well, were you able to engage with the anti-gun protesters?
We did a little bit.
Okay.
And there again, there's a big disconnect. The leader of the organization opposed to guns, on her Facebook page, on their organization's page, they posted all sorts of claims that those of us on our side were attacking them, that we were yelling and screaming at them, that we were just misbehaving, if you will. And yet, on their own page, one of their participants posted a comment. We've actually got a screenshot on our Facebook page where she says she went to the protest. She walked as far as she could with her walker, and her back gave out. She says she was stuck with the gun owners in all capital letters. She apologized but was welcomed by two kind men, her words. She said, when we talked, we realized that we both actually want the same thing. They made me realize that I need to learn more and react less. I offered my hand to shake, and both gave me a hug. When it was time to leave, one of the men helped me across the street, stopping the traffic so I was safe.
And then he pistol whipped
Now, this is actually one of the people who was in the other side, if you will. And she speaks very complimentary of people that were on our side. And yet, in the Facebook page for the leader of the organization, she claimed that we surrounded this woman, that we were threatening her, and that we chased her across the street.
And so you guys were out there. Were you out there to attend the gun show, or were you just out there to be a counter protest to the protest?
Well, it's always a good day when you can go to a gun show.
Oh, of course.
New Gun Day is always a good day. But we were out there to do some counter protesting, and we were actually larger in number than the people who were protesting against guns. But that never really came through in any of the reporting anywhere either.
Are you worried that if there is, if they raise the age of, to purchase an assault rifle, are you afraid eventually that they're going to come and that the government's going to come and take your weapons away from you?
You know what? That's a good question. Very fair question to ask. For the past number of years, well before the last presidential election, individuals who were claiming they wanted common sense gun laws, gun reform, always said, no one's coming to take your guns. Yet history in our own country has shown that our own government does restrict its own citizens, that our own government has either gone out to confiscate guns or has attempted to confiscate guns, and no one on the other side of the argument they're so misinformed or uninformed, they know nothing about any of it.
Well, there's legislation in Springfield right now where the sponsor, Michelle Mussman, raising the legal age for rifle to 21, said, we will come to, what are you going to do about the 18 to 21-year-olds who have rifles? We're going to come get them. So, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. I don't know why this is seen as some kind of like black helicopter conspiracy theory. The people who want to ban guns, who want to take guns away from law-abiding citizens, want to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. It's very straightforward, it seems to me.
Well, if you look at the New York's so-called SAFE Act that they enacted after the Sandy Hook school shooting in 2013, they required everyone who owned what was called an assault rifle had to both register the weapon and they had to register all their magazines, so-called high-capacity magazines. In testimony before the state legislature, the New York State Police said that they estimated that there were 1.5 million AR-15s in the state of New York. And they estimated possibly tens of millions of 30-round magazines.
Yeah, right.
Now, just a couple of years after the law was passed, at a time which made failure to register a felony, they were actually questioned as to how many people had actually registered guns. Only 40,000 AR-15s had been registered of an estimated 1.5 million.
Yeah, right. No, I get the point
and
is...
one county sheriff was asked if he planned on sending his deputies out to confiscate all these now illegally owned guns, and his response was, do you think I want my deputies getting shot?
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, the point is to say that nobody's going to shoot somebody. The point is to say that the only way this happens is you have confiscation with 300 million guns in circulation. It's absurd. It's fantasy land of the left, and that's why we don't get to sensible solutions to some of these violent crime problems we have. Bob Garza from Illinois Gun Owners Together. Bob, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your perspective.
You're very welcome.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for upstream-ideas.com. Guns have no moral agency. Predators hurt and kill people. Often they use a gun. Good guys protect people. Often they use a gun. When a predator kills with a gun, he is rightly called a monster. When a good guy with a gun fails to protect people, he's rightly called a coward. The very nature of the way we discuss an atrocity like the Parkland school shooting conveys our understanding that it's bad guys and good guys who are responsible for what they do and not the instrumentality they use in their conduct. So arguing that the response to the deadly success of the shooter and the failure of the deputy sheriff is to reduce the number of good guys and their instrumentality choices does not logically follow from the accepted premise. And neither does the failure of state agencies locally and federally to exercise the power they currently possess make the case for expanding their power at the expense of our rights. No amount of emergency planning or algorithmic modeling or government power can replace the variety of human judgment calls that will be thrust upon a free people. The question then isn't what's in my holster, it's what's in my head and my heart.
People have long associated the Ozinga name with concrete, but truth be told, Ozinga has always been on a quest to create a better world. We want to help you build your business so you can provide for your family, create better jobs, and build your community. It's why we constantly engineer better concrete, haul raw materials, and supply cleaner fuel. Together, we can positively impact the places where we live, work, and play throughout the Chicagoland area. To learn more, go to ozinga.com. That's OZINGA.com.
So, you're a truck driver, a clutch cowboy, a wrangler of the road. At Ozinga, you are exactly who we need. Concrete truck drivers. People who aren't afraid of a little adventure and hard work. If you're tired of monotony and are looking to build something that matters, then come build with us. At Ozinga, we are building our families, our communities, and our country. Apply online today at ozinga.com. That's OZINGA.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life is turning around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in the bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
Did you know you could be paying up to 80% less for your family's medications? How? With GoodRx. GoodRx compares prices of every FDA-approved drug at pharmacies in your area and offers free downloadable coupons at GoodRx.com, so you get the best deals on all your medications. You'd be surprised at how much the prices can differ, even at pharmacies on the same block. Last year, GoodRx saved Americans over $2 billion on their medications. Just text GoodRx to 99,000 to learn how to start saving money today. Imagine paying even less than your insurance copay. GoodRx can sometimes find you medications for free. There are never any fees and no personal information is ever required. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions and save up to 80% instantly by texting the word GoodRx to 99,000. That's GoodRx to 99,000. Save today. Text GOODRX to 99000.
Message and data rates may apply. You will receive up to 4 automated text messages per month from GoodRx.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Washington is full of career politicians. It's time we put everyday Americans back in charge of your government. I'm Dr. Suppan Shah. My parents immigrated here with nothing in their pockets. They worked tirelessly to give me the American dream. Now, as a physician and successful entrepreneur, I'm running for Congress to bring real-world experience to Washington. I will heal our broken healthcare system, bring jobs back to the 10th District, and then term limit myself and get out of the way for the next citizen legislator. I knew it would be difficult taking on the entrenched politicians. The insiders have come after me with everything they've got, even lying to scare you from voting for the only outsider and the only candidate born right here in the 10th District. Here's the choice you have: more of the same or a new path. You can vote for politics as usual or for common sense and real-world experience. Republicans, the choice is yours. I'm Dr. Suppan Shah. I approve this message and I humbly ask for your vote so I can bring common sense back to Washington. Learn more at drshawforcongress.com.
If you're a small business, first impressions can make all the difference. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a professional business phone system on your mobile phone. Choose a business phone number, make calls, and send texts. Stay connected and work from anywhere with features like Wi-Fi calling and our desktop app. Set up your account in minutes with no long-term contracts and 24/7 customer support. Make your small business big. Now get $20 off your first month when you visit grasshopper.com/radio. That's grasshopper.com/radio.
Blue Star medicated ointment works fast to relieve the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation.
It's amazing. It's like as soon as you put it on, you can feel it working. We've had Blue Star in the family for years. It works on everything.
I love the cooling sensation on my athlete's foot.
What a relief for my eczema.
Nothing worked on my dry, cracked skin until I tried Blue Star.
Blue Star is great for scalp itch.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, you're going to want to put down your cornflakes for this before you hear this story.
Well, Michigan State, MSU, they have a new college sex survey out, and they wanted to ask students, about their sexuality, the pornography, relationship violence, and sexual assault. So they asked some
Good
questions.
timing with the Larry Nassar scandal there.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. But they asked them about their sexual history, and I have a list of the questions, and I don't think there's anything that I could even ask you. Well, first of all, I don't want to know, and it's very inappropriate. But they ask if you've ever engaged in something in regards to a bottle or a vegetable, if you've ever kissed someone of the same sex gender in front of others for their entertainment, if you've kissed someone of a different sex gender in front of others for your entertainment.
Check. All right, keep going.
Have you ever danced
Check.
stripped in front of others for their entertainment?
Check.
Have you really? You've danced for other people's entertainment?
I was
putting
myself through law school.
Then they've asked if you've ever blanked on a blank, or if somebody's ever blanked on your blank.
Is this the newlywed game? Are you Bob Eubanks blanked on a blank? What is this about making whoopee?
Read those questions because I don't want to do it. But this is this is a university sanctioned campus survey. I mean, if I was spending $32,000 a year to send my kid to Michigan State University, I would be rethinking that because that is none of their business, and that is actually disgusting questions.
Finally, the value of my sister's degree has gone down instead of mine. She's a Michigan State grad.
Oh, those Spartans. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to our friend Michael Goodwin from the New York Post about the Trump agenda and how the media ignores Trump's successful leadership style. Yeah. Really, 808.
And later on, breaking down the Oscars. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
3 teens shot on Chicago's west side. A college student from Plainfield charged with the murders of his parents. Over 5,000 take part in the 18th annual Chicago Polar Plunge. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock. America first. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That familiar message in a tweet from President Trump this morning, one of several about trade. Live at the White House, here's Fox's John Decker.
Just days after announcing harsh tariffs on imported steel and aluminum, the president tweeting, "To protect our country, we must protect American steel. Hashtag America First." Also tweeting on the North American Free Trade Agreement, writing, "We have large trade deficits with Mexico and Canada. NAFTA, which is under renegotiation right now, has been a bad deal for the USA." He continued, "Massive relocation of companies and jobs. Tariffs on steel and aluminum will only come off if new and fair NAFTA agreement is signed. Also, Canada must treat our farmers much better. Highly restrictive." Chris?
John, thanks. There was some politics mixed in with the movies at last night's Academy Awards, mostly about how Hollywood should be more diverse and the Me Too women's movement. As for the awards themselves, no mistakes. After last year's wrong winner was read for Best Picture, Warren Beatty getting it right this time near the end of the show on ABC.
And the Oscar goes to... The Shape of Water.
Guillermo del Toro wins the Best Director Oscar for that movie. Frances McDormand wins Best Actress. Sam Rockwell Best Supporting Actor for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Gary Oldman is Best Actor in The Darkest Hour. Best Supporting Actress, Allison Janney in I, Tonya.
couple of winter storms to keep an eye on.
We've got one system across the northern plains bringing heavy snow and blizzard conditions through Tuesday, and another nor'easter will move into the northeast Wednesday and Thursday this week. It will not be as powerful in terms of winds as last week's storm, but we could see more of a snow event for coastal cities along the I-95 corridor.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. North Korean President Kim Jong-un meeting today with delegates from South Korea who've gone across the border for dinner and talks. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Larry Elder explains what it takes to run for president.
The very act of running for president is narcissistic. You have to say to yourself, out of the 330 million people living in America, I am the one who's got the talent, the ability, the skills, the whatever to run this thing. You don't think that requires an ego? You don't think that requires somebody to feel pretty pleased with himself or herself? Of course it does.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Mostly cloudy and 31 degrees. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland today. The snow begins falling this afternoon around 4 p.m., lasting until midnight. Anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of accumulation is possible. A 19-year-old Central Michigan University student is charged with open murder and felony firearms for the shooting of his parents on Friday when they arrived on campus to take him home for spring break. James Davis Jr. was found Saturday after a long manhunt.
I never envisioned it could happen at Central Michigan University. We are a safe community. We are a safe campus. But we demonstrated the ability to deal with the inconceivable.
CMU Police Chief Bill Yeagley says James Davis Jr. got his father's service weapon from his parents' vehicle on Friday morning. Davis Sr. was a police officer in West Suburban Bellwood. One person hurt following a fire over the weekend in Oswego, flames causing about $450,000 worth of damage. Chicago's Polar Plunge continues to be a huge fundraiser for Special Olympics. It happened at North Avenue Beach yesterday, raising $1.6 million. And another former Cub doing good, baseball fields in Tallahassee, Florida, getting an upgrade, courtesy of World Series champion David Ross, who won titles with the Cubs and the Boston Red Sox. Cubs and Sox continue spring training this week in Arizona. College hoops, Big Ten tournament wrapping up with Michigan beating Purdue. Loyola into the NCAA tournament, winning the Missouri Valley Conference title with a win over Illinois State. The news is a service of Walgreens. Walgreens is here for all of your diabetes needs. Stop by today to consult with your pharmacist about medications and diabetes testing supplies. You can also ask their trusted pharmacy team questions day and night on Walgreens.com or on their mobile app. 8:04, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Amazon wants to handle your money without exactly becoming a bank. The Wall Street Journal says Amazon is talking with J.P. Morgan Chase about creating a service that works like a checking account. J.P. Morgan already offers an Amazon-branded credit card. France's financial and insurance company AXA is buying insurance company XL Group for an estimated $15 billion. AXA says the deal will allow it to dominate the global property and casualty insurance business. Goldman Sachs is stepping up its service for millionaires. The New York Post says Goldman will increase its number of financial advisors for wealthy clients by 30% within 3 years. It currently employs about 700 financial advisors. The Dow Jones Industrials dropped 70 points on Friday. The Nasdaq was up 77. The S&P gained 13. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of FJ Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. FJ Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You work hard to recruit the best talent for your business, so you know today's candidates want perks they can enjoy every day. Give them the healthy, active office culture they're looking for with Veridesk Standing Desk Solutions. The new Veridesk ProDesk 60 Electric is a commercial-grade electric standing desk that lets you sit or stand with the touch of a button, and it assembles in under 5 minutes. To learn more about the ProDesk 60 Electric, visit veridesk.com/radio. That's VARIdesk.com/radio.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Daryl has hired with Indeed.
Nothing has been this simple, this easy, and this effective.
Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Libertyville, Winchester is closed between 45 and Franklin. There's a malfunctioning rail crossing there. Eden's inbound 21 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 25. Kennedy. Inbound delay starting at Foster. 49 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 36 from Montrose. 34 in the Express. Outbound 13 minutes to Montrose. 32 to the airport. About Eisenhower. 58 minutes 390 to downtown. 40 from Manheim. Outbound 43 minutes to 390. Stevenson 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38. Ryan 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 is fine. Bishop Ford looking at 20 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Outbound heavy, fresh at 103rd. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Brain March to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial at the Boughton of the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways great, no delays, Freeport and Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A winter weather advisory in effect from 6 p.m. this evening until midnight tonight. Mostly cloudy today with wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour, periods of late afternoon rain, high 42, then periods of evening snow, an inch or two, low 30. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, 31. Next news at 8:30, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Over the weekend, you were seeing the worst movie in the history of Hollywood awarded the Best Picture.
The Shape of Water.
I mean, certainly the worst movie to ever win Best Picture. Maybe one of the worst movies ever made.
It wasn't. It's a chick film. I mean, I got to tell you.
Sure. What chick doesn't want to run away with a fish?
No, everyone needs a man fish in their bathtub.
Yeah.
I mean, forget the tank. Then you get gills and you go away with them.
Yeah.
Forget life's pains. Go swim in the Hudson River.
In addition to the Oscar extravaganza, though, on Saturday night, Gridiron Club dinner. Trump did not go last year. He did go this year. This is an opportunity for him to
be with the people that he hates?
Offer some quips and some self-deprecating humor. Now, it's not televised. Camera's not allowed. So there's no audio. But people reported back, of course, some of the best one-liners. Your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Well, the one that sticks out is the one he made about Melania, with so much people leaving the White House. He said, who's next? Miller or Melania?
Yeah. I think your delivery needs some work there.
Yeah, it's not my best work.
I won't rule out direct talks with Kim Jong-un. I just won't. As far as the risk of dealing with a madman is concerned, that's his problem, not mine. Thank you. Nobody does self-deprecating humor better than I do. It's not even close.
That's good.
It's been a very tough year for CNN. They've lost a tremendous amount of credibility this year. And your best reporter, Steve Bannon. Hi-yo.
Rim shot.
On the New York Times, I'm a New York icon. You're a New York icon. The only difference is I still own my buildings. Zing. That is weird. And then finally,
yes,
on concern for global warming, Trump suggested he's going to reduce the administration's carbon emissions. We're going to reduce the carbon footprint when we travel by shrinking the press pool, so we're only going to have room for Sean Hannity, Lou Dobbs, and Judge Janine.
That's good.
Okay.
I bet he's going to be at the White House Correspondents' Dinner now.
I bet he's going to be at the Laugh Factory
working
on his
right.
act.
And he's coming to Zanies in St. Charles.
Perhaps Michael Goodwin will also be given an exemption to be part of the new press corps. Michael Goodwin, columnist for the New York Post and Fox News contributor. He's got a new piece out about President Trump's presidential leadership that has largely been ignored by the D.C. press corps. He joins us now. Michael, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. I enjoyed the laughs.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you. I mean,
Dan will be here all week.
Thank Donald Trump's team of comedy writers, apparently. You suggest that, this narrative of chaos in the White House and a intellectually challenged, emotionally unstable president who is not leading on the issues where America needs leadership, it turns out to be largely wrong when you look at the manifest weight of the evidence.
Well, look, the rush of events is really unprecedented. And I think that a lot of people who are not in Washington look at it and wonder what the heck is going on? What do I believe? What's important? And what I try to do in the column is to focus on the big picture, the reasons why I think the president is succeeding in terms of his policies, and I cite those 3 meetings that he's had on television, where one with on immigration with bipartisan leaders of Congress, and then one with the governors that didn't get a lot of attention. But again, I thought it was significant. I think he had 35 governors in the White House, and a conference where they're talking, he's talking, and then of course the one on gun control that he convened last week. And I think that what you see there is the president being president, convening other leaders, trying to shape legislation and solutions for pressing problems. Now, these are big problems. That's why they haven't been solved. They're vexing, immigration, the gun issue. And so, but I think that the media doesn't acknowledge, by and large, what's happening because the president is going over their heads. He's just doing this live on TV, and they don't get to control. They don't get to filter. And I think that this is how he won the campaign largely, is by directly speaking on the media, not through press conferences, not through statements, but through his own behavior and his own views.
But let me play devil's advocate.
I think that was a winning plan by him to do this.
Yeah, PR-wise maybe, but let me play devil's advocate. In terms of advancing policy, they come together and they pretend that they want to behave in a bipartisan manner and find common ground, and we're not that far away, and we're all trying to get to the same place, and all of the other prosaic pronouncements of politicians. They put, and then they go back on the cable news channels are in full Keith Olbermann froth about the president. And so for thinking about the first one, which was kind of broke the seal about immigration reform, now today's March 5th, and do we have a deal on DACA? No. Is one coming? Probably not. So how effective policy-wise is that approach?
Well, look, you're absolutely right that there are no solutions to these in sight.
Right.
But I think another part of this is that the president himself has demonstrated his knowledge and his flexibility. Now, there's political value in that to him, and I would argue to Republicans as a whole, because he's not on the ballot this year, but all of his, or many of the Republicans are, and he needs to keep a Republican Congress. I mean, I think the Democrats certainly bear some responsibility for these things. I think there's enough evidence for the Republicans to use that if the Democrats don't want a deal on DACA, if they only want the most aggressive gun control issues and not really focused on issues like hardening the schools or the mental illness and how you stop these individuals, not taking all guns, not confiscating and banning. So I think, I mean, you're right, there's no solution, but part of the equation is always who pays the price for that. And I think right now the Democrats don't look as solid on these issues as they could if there were solutions. So I think it's up to them also to help craft these solutions.
Well, I've loved the transparency, and I've actually been at home while watching cable news while these meetings takes place, whether it's with the governors or with other lawmakers. But sometimes Trump, he speaks before he thinks, and when he talked about taking guns away from the mentally ill, then due process later, how did you process that statement?
Look, I think the president thinks out loud in a lot of these things. And I think when he sits down later and goes over things, you see him walking back some of that. I tend to think that is just an over-exuberance and rather than a deceptive tactic. I think that when you it happened with immigration, Dianne Feinstein said something like, let's have a clean DACA bill, meaning nothing else. And he said, okay, I'd for that. And then Republicans said to him, no, that's not how we're going to get this done. And so I think he has made some mistakes in these, and he's had to walk back things he said in those meetings. But again, I think for the larger audience, the important thing is the president is taking control, is working with Congress. I mean, we never saw Barack Obama have these kinds of meetings. He had them very early on. Basically, he said, I won the election, and therefore I get to do everything. So I think that it still remains to be seen whether this is successful in terms of legislation and in terms of politics. But I think it is noteworthy that this is how he's talking to the public again, directly through the television audience.
And I mean, you make a fair point too that so much of this is presentation, and people don't necessarily pay day-to-day attention to the substance of the progress. But Thomas Binion did, and he wrote a piece. He's a congressional and executive branch guy for the Heritage Foundation. He wrote a piece on Fox News website talking about the recommendations that policy analysts at the Heritage Foundation put together. And they did a little bit of an inventory at the end of 2017, Trump's first year. We reviewed all 334 recommendations presented in our Mandate for Leadership series and found the Trump administration had embraced fully 64% of them and made significant progress, obviously, in areas like tax reform and regulatory relief and the appointment of conservative jurists and so forth, the pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord. Significant progress in a number of these areas. I mean, in terms of kind of one of the leading conservative reform think tanks, for the president to be that aligned with that policy agenda should be great news for a lot of conservative reformers, even some those that are often critical of him.
Right. And look, I think that all of these successes have come largely through regulation reform, which the president can do unilaterally, or through straight line party votes. I mean, Gorsuch essentially was a Republican confirmation, as are most of these other judges, which I think another way to look at all of this is, what are the Democrats up to besides saying no to President Trump? Do they have a strategy for the midterms other than resist, resist, resist? I mean, I don't think that works across the country. It will work in some districts, and they'll probably pick up some House seats. Whether they can pick up the House, having voted against tax cuts. I mean, in Nancy Pelosi's crumbs argument about the bonuses and the tax cuts for working class families, I think we're going to hear a lot about that during the midterms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm still waiting. What are the Democrats going to run on? They're going to run on Russia. They're going to run on crumbs. I mean, they're going to have to, I think, have a coherent, positive message to contrast with what the president and the Republicans, as you say, a lot of these heritage things will play very well with midterm voters. So I think the midterms still are obviously still up in the air, but I think what's missing so far is, what is the Democrats' message? Right now, I don't see one. And I would just say quickly on tariffs, if we have a minute to talk about that. I think that a lot of very smart people say this is the wrong thing to do, that there'll be retaliation, consumers will pay a price. I mean, you guys have heard it as well as I have. I would just add, once again, the other side of the story is, this is what the president said he was going to do, to try to bring manufacturing jobs back to America and to a lot of the districts that voted for him. These are the ones who suffered the most. And I would just say to all those smart people who say it's wrong, okay, what is your answer? What is your solution for these working class people who have lost their jobs in these globalization arrangements? And not hearing one, I think the president has come up with one of his own. Now, again, as Amy said earlier, he may walk back some of this. They may carve out some exceptions. They may do all kinds of additional negotiations to limit the impact in certain countries. But again, I think he has struck a blow for people who feel the government isn't working for them. Donald Trump is trying to make the government work for those people. I think that's an important starting line.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue at the expense of a lot of other people, but we'll save the discussion about free trade for another time. He is Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor. His most recent piece is "The Media Keep Ignoring Trump's Presidential Leadership," which is worth a read. Michael, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Is a church group allowed to use the facilities at a local school? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
Yeah, I would like to know if facilities form at a public school can state that religious activities or religious organizations are prohibited from using facilities.
Absolutely not. And some of these schools still have these policies where they're excluding religious uses or religious worship services or religious groups from meeting on an equal access basis on a public policy inclusion form. And that's wrong. What I need to do is get you in touch with our lawyers directly here at the American Center for Law and Justice. We'll take a look at the policy. We'll try to get it changed administratively. Usually we can. If not, we'll go to court. We've got a number of these filed all the time. We're constantly having these cases still develop, although there's been now 4 Supreme Court cases on this point, all of which have come out in favor of the religious use. And it can't be denied that. That's viewpoint discrimination, and that's unconstitutional. The Supreme Court's been unanimous in those cases.
For more information about student rights, visit us on our website at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Trump was making fun of himself on Saturday night at the Gridiron Club, and Alec Baldwin was making fun of him on Saturday night on
the
Saturday
cold
Night
open
Live.
for Saturday Night Live after they tweeted back and forth all day. You know,
About
those two girls.
how Alec Baldwin's career was resuscitated by making fun of Trump. Here's Alec Baldwin about Trump not only going to save the schools all by themselves, keep them safe, he's going to run the White House all by himself.
Just like how I'm running the White House all by myself. Because these people who work for me keep resigning. Hope Hicks, she's like a daughter to me, so smart, so hot. She resigned. You know, I hate seeing her go, but I love watching her walk away. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, Jared Kushner's basically the hottest chick left in the place. And he's probably going to jail soon, so he's out, but that should be it, okay?
He does do a good President Trump. I don't care what Trump tweets to Alec Baldwin. And Alec Baldwin tweeted back, "Stop having your wife ask me for tickets to SNL." Ooh. Melania calls Alec Baldwin for tickets.
Yeah, that's how good the SNL writers are. They make Alec Baldwin funny. We're just a couple of weeks away from Beyond the Talking Points, when I'll sit down across from Donna Brazile and explain to her why just about every position she holds is wrong. It's happening on Thursday, March 22nd at the Meadows Club in Rolling Meadows. Donna and I will be debating all the big issues: immigration, gun control, tax reform. And you'll have a chance to pose questions to us as well. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond. But right now...
Yes?
We have a pair of tickets to give away to caller number 6. Number 6 to 312-733-6993. 312-733-6993. Caller 6 to 312-733-6993 will win a pair of tickets to see me take on Donna Brazile March 22nd. And a big thank you to our sponsors, AM Woodland Outdoor Design, 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO, the Judson World Leaders Forum, and the Heartland Institute.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the left is at it again. They celebrate a man, Gary Oldman, and then within minutes, they slam him for something that he allegedly did years ago. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
31 degrees, cloudy skies, and a winter storm packing a powerful punch may hit Chicagoland. Later today, a winter weather advisory goes into effect at 4. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit President Trump at the White House. Today, Netanyahu saying he'll talk with the president about going to the new U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem in May. The Florida State Legislature will vote on a school safety package drafted by Republican leaders in response to mass shootings at a Florida high school. Congress still working to find a solution for DACA. President saying in September he would end that program by today if Congress did not find a replacement. However, court orders have forced the Trump administration to keep issuing renewals for hundreds of thousands of young illegal immigrants brought here illegally as children. The 90th Annual Academy Awards is a wrap. The Shape of Water, one of the big winners, along with Jordan Peele, who made some history, becoming the first African-American to earn the Best Original Screenplay for his movie, Get Out. An investigation is underway after 3 underage teens were shot on Chicago's west side. It happened in the 4900 block of West Rice. Chicago police are expanding use of modern efforts to combat crime in the city. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson introducing predictive policing technology to the near West Side district. The man in charge of buying most things for the state of Illinois will now be in charge of trying to fix the health crisis at the Quincy Veterans Home. Governor Bruce Rauner putting Michael Hoffman in charge of the state's oversight and response to the deadly Legionnaire's disease outbreak at the Veterans Home. Number of employees this morning are out of a job at a Carson's department store that abruptly closed in Madison. Workers were informed yesterday of that closure. Village officials say Carson's parent company did not inform them of the closing in advance. Ducks over the Blackhawks 6-3. College hoops Big Ten tournament wraps up with Michigan beating Purdue in the title game. Loyola, a championship game win over Illinois State. And they've punched their ticket to the big dance. The news service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples, get $5 off your next print and marketing services purchase when you spend $50 or more. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only. Ends 3/24. Exclusions apply. Staples. 8:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher thinks arming teachers is a no-brainer.
Of course, teachers who are already comfortable with guns and are capable of handling guns, who will be willing to go through additional training and scrutiny and vetting, of course they need to be able to be armed. It's not even a close call.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of your premier home mortgage lender, Townstone Financial. Interest rates are extremely low, so there's no better time than the present to do a no closing cost refinance with Townstone Financial if your interest rate is above 4%. Remember, Townstone has completed thousands of no closing cost refinances since 2002. And don't worry, there are no hidden costs. I guarantee it, and I own the company. We can also customize the payback period so you don't have to start over at 30 years or 15. Last week, I began a no closing cost refinance where the borrower was going to save over $100 per month. That's $1,200 a year. So give me a call now at 312-896-2111 and let me review your current situation. Lastly, do you have mortgage insurance or an FHA loan? Let us see if we can remove the insurance payments, which will dramatically reduce your monthly payments. The call is free and so is my time, so dial 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com. Townstone Financial is an Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and MLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Stop by a Subway restaurant for the new double meat signature wraps for just $6.99 each. Prices may vary. Additional charge for extras plus applicable tax. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Washington is full of career politicians. It's time we put everyday Americans back in charge of your government. I'm Dr. Supan Shah. My parents immigrated here with nothing in their pockets. They worked tirelessly to give me the American dream. Now, as a physician and successful entrepreneur, I'm running for Congress to bring real-world experience to Washington. I will heal our broken healthcare system, bring jobs back to the 10th District, and then term limit myself and get out of the way for the next citizen legislator. I knew it would be difficult taking on the entrenched politicians. The insiders have come after me with everything they've got, even lying to scare you from voting for the only outsider and the only candidate born right here in the 10th District. Here's the choice you have: more of the same or a new path. You can vote for politics as usual or for common sense and real-world experience. Republicans, the choice is yours. I'm Dr. Suppan Shah. I approve this message, and I humbly ask for your vote so I can bring common sense back to Washington. Learn more at drshahforcongress.com.
It's 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. It's all clear on the inbound Edens. 19 minutes like Cook, the junction, outbound 25. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Montrose. 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 36 from Montrose, 38 in Express. Outbound 11 minutes to Montrose. It's 32 O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, 49 minutes, 390 to downtown. 32 from Manheim. Outbound 35 to 390. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound, stop and go Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow from Stevenson to 47th, from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's slow from 63rd to the Reagan Tollway, Army Trail to 290. The other tollways are looking fine. No delays to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast: cloudy, windy, rainy this early afternoon. Rain changes to snow overnight. 41 for a high today, a low of 30 overnight. Currently, we have 32. Next news coming up at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter or hear about it from your friends, find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the Oscar Gala last night, a new hashtag campaign has been launched, Amy.
Yeah.
You got your Me Too.
You got your Time's Up.
You got that.
Yeah.
Now, David Arquette tweeting out he's proud to join Ask More of Him hashtag at the Oscars because men can and must do more to stop violence against women in Hollywood and beyond. Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree with the sentiment, of course, but I'm not so sure I'm persuaded by the virtue signaling.
It's kind of, his reaction probably to Frances McDormand, who won Best Actress for 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. And she had a call to action, so to speak. Just listen. This is what she did during her acceptance speech.
If I may be so honored to have all the female nominees in every category stand with me in this room tonight. The actors. Meryl, if you do it, everybody else will. Come on. The filmmakers, the producers, the directors, the writers, the cinematographers.
It's like a Howard Dean moment.
The composers, the songwriters, the designers. Come on. Ms. Boyman. Okay, look around, everybody. Look around, ladies and gentlemen, because we all have stories to tell and projects we need finance. Don't talk to us about it at the parties tonight. Invite us into your office in a couple days, or you can come to ours, whichever suits you best, and we'll tell you all about them. I have 2 words to leave with you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Inclusion rider.
And then we're going to New Hampshire and South Carolina and Florida. Also, the movie that won Best Picture.
Oh, yeah. Here, do you want to...
The worst Best Picture winner in the history of the Oscars. It's not close. Shape of Water.
Yes.
Belongs in the bin with Ishtar, not in the pantheon of great movies with Godfather and On the Waterfront, I'm sorry to say. But I know that the social justice warrior messaging, not to mention the amphibious lover, won over the hearts and minds of Academy voters.
Everybody wants a man fish. Everyone wants to escape life and swim away in the Hudson River
I
to
think-
get to the Amazon.
I think what did it, what cinched it for Shape of Water.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Hollywood. The Soviet Spy with the Heart of Gold.
Oh, right.
Oh,
right,
that was
yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Of course.
good.
For more on this, why don't we talk to somebody who's actually survived in that milieu? He is Andrew Klavan, who's a famed Hollywood screenwriter in his own right, and he's also the author of the book The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. Andrew, thank you for joining us. And who did you wear last night for the Oscars?
Well, this is an entire culture that doesn't believe in thoughts and prayers, but they think that putting a button on their lapel is going to change the world. It's, I don't know. I was just seeing that their ratings plunged again. I don't know who watches this anymore. Who wants to see these misbehaving multimillionaires who live off our good graces come out and wag their fingers at us and tell us what we're doing wrong? I mean, the problems that they're highlighting about women and all, these are things that happened in Hollywood. These are things they did. So why are they sounding so self-righteous about it?
Well, and it bothers me too because Gary Oldman finally wins an Oscar because he's a great actor, and then there's a headline saying why Kobe Bryant and Gary Oldman were the night's biggest tragedy. I understand about Kobe Bryant, but I mean, Gary Oldman, it's an allegation that his ex-wife made during a divorce. That he hit her or something. But, I mean, she never even filed charges. So it's like they lift you up and they slam you down in the same night.
Right, and Kobe Bryant was actually tried and found not guilty. So, you can charge anybody with anything, but that doesn't mean they did it. Oldman is getting attacked because he's a known conservative out here. He's one of the very few, and he's a great actor. But the thing is, they're all great. They're all very talented at what they do. It's a case of misplaced authority. It's kind of like Albert Einstein was a great scientist, and then he'd make these remarks about how world peace that made absolutely no sense, and people took him seriously because he was a great scientist. These people are great at reading lines in a convincing manner, and then they get up and make moral speeches, and we take them seriously as moral guides when they're not good moral guides. They don't behave well themselves. Their lives are a mess. They're usually fairly neurotic people, but they act well.
This the Oscars provided a nice backdrop for this piece in City Journal. I don't know if you saw it, by Lance Moreau, who's a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, and he writes about what he calls the travesty culture in America. And you saw it, on display there in Hollywood last night. And he suggests that travesty is an addiction, and it occurs to me that. It occurs to him, I'm reading from him, that it works in with the Fibonacci sequence, right? The math sequence where you add the previous two numbers and you get the third. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. The idea is that you have this multiplier effect, and that's what we have with our travesty culture. Morrow writes, travesty is a phenomenon of politics and culture, is what happens when exaggeration has no place left to go. Things are first stretched, then grossly parodied, then done to death. Travesty abhors compromise, scorns moderation or careful thought. The travesty left and travesty right are twins and converge in the neighborhood of coercion and certitude.
Well, that is absolutely true, and it highlights an even deeper problem, in my opinion, which is that we have lost the standards of virtue. We can't even have a logical, reasonable conversation about what's right and wrong anymore because we've lost the basics of classical philosophy, of religious theology. Those things have been left behind. And so we have people on the left who are talking absolute madness, like men and women are the same and all cultures deserve respect, which is nonsense. And then on the right, we have people who know that's not true, but don't know why it's not true. And they'll say, well, it's in the Bible, or they'll say, I just feel this, or science says. They've forgotten the structure of morality that built the West. And I think that so all we're left with is emotions. All we're left with is screaming at one another and never coming to a resolution because we're just basically talking about what feels right and what feels wrong. And that's why actors become our moral guides.
Are you still a big Trump supporter?
I've never been a big Trump supporter. I'm a big supporter of the things he accomplished in his first year. I always have been very critical of Trump and many of his behaviors. Right now, I'm very upset with his remarks on guns and this idea of a tariff. I mean, I don't know, presidents seem to bumble into tariffs every couple of years. They never work, and then they pull them away after, I guess, the steel industry makes a bunch of money. But the stuff about guns, I mean, look, Trump is not a thoughtful man. He's a guy who talks before he thinks. And so I try to keep my powder dry when he makes bad remarks because they don't always translate into action. And I think Trump has done a lot in the first year for conservatism. And I think his boorishness has been effective in shattering political correctness, which needed to be done.
Just going back to culture for a second, particularly entertainment, this is maybe important to you. I just want to make sure you had the heads up on this. Comic-Con, which is at the Washington State Convention Center in Seattle, of course. They are having no straight, no white males allowed parties at Comic-Con. So the industry mixers are for like women and gender queer, people of color, LGBTQIA.
What's the IA?
I'm not exactly sure. So if you were going out to that, Andrew, I just wanted to give you the heads up about the strictures.
Well, leftism always accomplishes the opposite of what it intends to do. I mean, this is not just happening here. It's happening in colleges where they have segregated dorms. They have black dorms. I mean, it's Martin Luther King would roll over in his grave, basically.
Isn't the whole point of Comic-Con for dorks to try and meet a girl?
Exactly. To meet a girl while wearing a Star Wars outfit.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was your lightsaber. I mean, well, our poor executive producer Keith Conrad, he always goes to Comic-Con. I guess he can't go now. Or
maybe he just can't go to the industry mixers.
But that's why you go.
Or he's gonna, have to don a different sort of uniform costume. But I mean, you, Andrew, you write about culture all the time, and for a long time we thought it would be contained on college campuses. Oh, that's just crazy, college kids, and then they'll grow up and grow out of it once they get in the workforce. But what happened is they grew up, they got into the workforce, they took over all the other cultural civic institutions, and as Andrew Sullivan wrote a couple weeks ago, it's one big college campus now.
Yes and no. What's happening is you have a culture on the left that silences dissent, that fires you if you say men and women are different, that won't let you say certain things in the workplace. Then you have a culture on the right where we're actively talking ideas, we say shocking things to one another, we laugh at each other's differences, we talk. Which one do you think America is ultimately going to opt for? I mean, do we really want a culture where people are shut up? Tyranny always collapses because people need to be free and they need to discuss things and talk things, and they resent it when you tell them they can't do it. The left has been the culture of shut up for 50 years. Some of that has leaked into big business because big business always trends left because big government is great for big business. But the places where culture lives and springs up and new businesses spring up, it's always got to be free. And so I think it may look for a moment like liberals are winning the culture war by shutting people up. But I think in the long run, people will opt for a culture of freedom and laughter and goodwill, which is what's happening on the right. You go to Comic-Con, there's nobody yelling at each other. There's nobody screaming. At Comic-Con, you go to CPAC, and there's nobody yelling and screaming. There are people discussing and laughing and having a great time. You look at the left, and they're constantly shocked, constantly outraged, and constantly furious. I do not think it's a good look.
Do you think the corporations that have distanced themselves from the NRA, kind of publicly repudiated 5 million NRA members like Delta, will live to regret it? Megan McArdle writing in the Washington Post over the weekend that they probably will.
Yes, that's the thing. On Instapundit, my friend Glenn Reynolds, he always says, "Go woke, go broke." And I think what's really interesting is when you look at Chick-fil-A, who took all that fire because their CEO didn't approve of gay marriage. When you look at FedEx, which stood up to the pressure and stuck with the NRA, they do great. And eventually people look over and say, oh, all this noise is just noise. And the people actually don't mind Donald Trump. The people actually want their guns. The people actually, do have nuanced views about marriage. So I think ultimately if business wants to make money, they will go where the people are.
He is Andrew Klavan, Hollywood screenwriter, such great books and films like True Crime. Also the author of the book, The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. Andrew, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, always a pleasure. Thanks.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Convenience, confidence, value. Experience all three when you bring your European vehicle to Midwest Performance Cars for maintenance and repair. BMW, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes. We make it convenient for you. Our drop-off procedure has most customers on their way in under 5 minutes, and we feature complimentary Uber or Lyft service to get you where you need to be. With our tablet-based digital inspections, you'll be confident that we only recommend service your car needs. We email or text your vehicle's condition report with pictures and video so you can make an informed decision. And our 3-year, 100,000-mile parts and labor warranty provides unmatched value. We perform outstanding service and we stand behind it. Read our Google reviews and see for yourself. In Chicago at 1385 West Lake Street, book your appointment online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com or call us at 312-432-9492. And coming this summer, we will be opening our second MPC location in Northbrook, Illinois.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out ShootPointBlank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. You know, I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, how would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software and, more importantly, give you peace of mind. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you, working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call. Oh no, they work hard to take preventative measures, keeping your network secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience, where everything is included: Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. Find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Career politicians put jobs in Mexico ahead of jobs in Muncie. Jobs in Beijing ahead of Bloomington. And when our jobs disappeared, the insiders sat on their hands and did nothing. Businessman and outsider Mike Braun is running for U.S. Senate to bring Indiana jobs back. Family man, businessman, Christian, Mike Braun created hundreds of jobs here in Indiana. As senator, Mike Braun will help pass President Trump's agenda. Braun will repeal Obamacare once and for all, defund dangerous sanctuary cities, and finally build the wall. And Mike Braun will protect the right to life and stand up for our values. No more career politicians. Businessman, outsider, conservative. We need Mike Braun in the United States Senate. He puts Indiana and America first.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right,
So,
the Oscars, and then there's the Grabbies.
Right. Oh, real quickly, Mark Bridges won the jet ski.
Who's that?
He won for Best Costume Designer. For
Oh, of
Fathom
course, that Mark Bridges.
You know,
of
Mark
course, the
Bridges.
costume designer.
Right, no, but if you kept your speech short, you would win a jet ski.
Yeah,
And
now
he
he's got to
won the
pay
jet-
taxes on it. Costume designer can't
Yeah,
afford the
he
taxes
can't
on that
afford-
jet ski.
Yeah, $18,000. That's what it's worth. All right, so Saturday Night Live, they did the Grabbies. Are you familiar with? So it's a spoof on the Oscars, but with all the sexual assault, they try to make it funny.
And now, the Academy of Sexual Harassment and Misconduct in Hollywood presents The Grabbies, celebrating this year's worst behavior in entertainment. We take you live to the red carpet with Danny Kilmartin and Yolanda Beese.
All right, it is finally that time of year, and what a year it's been.
I'm sure excited, and as a man, I'm nervous.
So many folks in Hollywood have been accused of so much this year, but who will take home the coveted Grabby?
I was about to jokingly grab you with the award, Yolanda, but then I stopped myself.
And it's funny because her co-host keeps changing 3 times in the skit because, it turns out he touched somebody in high school. Oh, it turns out he allegedly did appropriate things with his girlfriend in college. It was funny. I mean, that was
you know what's funny? Rape. Oh, did I ruin it? Oh,
You did. Hey, hands man.
And look who's heading our way, Grabby nominee Tom Sturgeson.
Hey, guys. Hey, it's really upsetting to be here tonight.
So, Tom, you're nominated for Handsiest Actor.
That's right. I gave out a lot of unwanted massages to my female co-stars. Also, I showed an intern my penis and said, any ideas?
Wow, don't want to jinx it, but that sounds like award-winning behavior to me.
Brutal. And speaking of brutal, did anyone call out Jimmy Kimmel, Mr. Girls Bouncing on Trampolines man show guy?
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, interesting.
He did rip on Trump and, of course, Mike Pence. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Quinn McCarthy and, of course, Keith Conrad. We're back tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. when we're live with Charles Equipment. But now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
A winter storm expected to hit Chicagoland today. We'll tell you when.